First time.
Fucking shit, this fucking timeline is lit all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow, this fucking timeline is all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Fucking shit, this fucking timeline is lit all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow, this fucking timeline is all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Fucking shit, this fucking timeline is lit all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow, this fucking timeline is all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Welcome back to the second stream of the day, 3CC. We're going to do the Biden Big Boy press conference live. I think I have it pulled up. Yes, I do. It starts at 6:30. It is currently 6:25. Let's see how I did with changing all my slides over. There we are. Yeah, that looks good to me. That looks good to me. Let me turn everybody's microphones up here. So we're all hanging out for a little while longer, huh? Say yes, because I'm doing that as a clever way to test my microphones.
Wait, I can sleep here, right?
Yeah, you can sleep here. I guess the sun's been going down. You look a little darker than... You look darker, but also brighter.
Bit, yeah.
You're also glowing a little bit.
Yeah, it looks a little pink.
You got a little of that Asian glow.
Danny, do you think you can move the Angry Orchard a bit? Because it's in the...
You're not asking me to move something that's closer to me than you, are you?
No.
But Biden press conference live. Let me refresh this guy real quick. And while I get this going. Not live yet. Okay, makes sense.
Okay.
Feel free to talk about any and everything you guys want to while I'm getting this all set up and testing out the chats.
I just want to know who is the paid press person that named this the Big Boy press conference.
I don't really understand that, honestly. Do any of you guys know the answer to that?
Someone he's probably going to fire afterwards, like his debate prep team.
I don't know where or why or what the hell that was about. What's going on, chat? Oop, that's not the chat. That's the chat. What is going on, chat? Some of you probably getting off work. I just found out about this press conference myself earlier today. So I think this is kind of it, guys, honestly. I think this is make it or break it for Joe Biden here in just a couple minutes.
Yeah, I don't see any in between. Either he goes full demented or he changes everyone's perception of him. I don't think he's going to change any minds.
I think he's going to do it, man. I'm rooting for Biden. I think he's going to just pull it all together here all of a sudden. He's going to be really articulate.
Imagine if he did, though. He came out like 1972 Biden. He's just smooth talking.
He's just brilliant.
Like, I might vote for this guy.
I'm going to put your not brightness. That's not what I want. I think I
Danny,
want your little
what
DM.
would Joe Biden have to say or do to get your vote?
It's just not a possibility. It's just like,
What if he's
Danny, Joe, you're at home. You're a young boy. You're taking a shower after like a football practice or something. The door suddenly
you gotta be
creaks.
careful.
You can't say that in State College.
Yeah,
you can't say
we
that
are
here.
at Penn
You
State.
can't say that here. Take it easy.
Jerry Sandusky's like
And
in
Joe
house now.
Biden and Jerry Sandusky walk in.
Mike
You hear a
McQuarrie
lo-
staying in the background.
And Mike McQuarrie's in the background.
You hear loud sniffing.
And then Alex Soros also is there.
Well, I don't know. I thought Alex Soros was gay. Not gonna lie, but
He
now-
is
he is
100%
gay.
gay, and that is his
No,
beard.
no, you
no,
know
he
he's
just
dating.
got
Yeah.
just got engaged
To Huma Abedin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a real relationship, guys.
Definitely, just like Bill and Hillary.
Billary.
Man,
Hey, they're operating in 4D chess, guys. Come on, they know that marriage is just like it's psyop. Like they're just like
when you're amongst the political elite, it's all for power.
exactly. They're pursuing political power. They're playing chess.
It's
not
an arranged
checkers.
marriage.
All right, I got volume on. I
We're
guess
playing
they're.
checkers for love. They're playing chess for power.
We still got.
Shit, dude, I can't even get a girlfriend. I don't know what you're talking about. Love.
We still got 2 minutes. Welcome to everybody joining YouTube, Rumble, Pilled, and X. All should be working. Oh, that's what I was gonna do while you guys were talking. Make sure the chats were working.
I wish we had a we had a bingo board for this because I know he's gonna bring up Project 2025. I know it. I just know it.
Just.
Me too, Steve.
I do kind
Me
of
too.
remember what was it 2 or 3 years ago when he gave that speech in Philadelphia with the red lights talking about the MAGA.
Oh yeah,
extremists?
that we were like domestic terrorists
Uh-huh.
and that we were the problem with this country, and it's like, go off yourself.
I could
Joe.
see something like that about to happen.
I'm talking about Minecraft for the FBI
In
agent
Minecraft.
listening.
In Minecraft. In Minecraft.
Please don't show up to my apartment. I'm unarmed.
If you're new to a 3cc stream, you get the up to 10 emojis. Any supers or anything like that. Let me make sure I got my auto on here so those will show up. Lord of the Re, I see you in here again. I know I had one from you in the last stream. There was another one I missed. But Newspeak, a.k.a. Cerberus right there, Huma, was Hillary's lover.
Is it Huma or Huma?
I don't care. Do you care?
No, I don't, but I don't know.
I don't know either. But
I
guess
thought
what?
It was like Uma.
Like that Fallout Boy
Uma
song?
Ehrman?
Yeah.
Like Uma Thurman? Do you guys even know who Uma Thurman
No,
is?
I
Is
just
that-
know the song.
You're
That's
too
it.
young. Too young, you young bucks. Just don't do any buck breaking.
Man, that Tariq Nasheed documentary. I
knew
know
you were gonna
exactly
know.
what you're talking about.
you would know. Do you guys?
I'm the only one in the room besides him that knows. That's the funny part.
I don't know if you should be proud of that though.
I know. I despise knowing about that shit documentary.
All right. Well, allegedly this was gonna start at 6:30. It's 6:30. It actually was allegedly gonna start at fucking 5:30, and that already got pushed back by an hour, probably to put some more drugs into Joe Biden. I am genuinely curious though. I just keep refreshing it and nothing happens.
This is like every White House event.
Gulf Coast, Florida man, get a grip, man. Get a grip.
So we have the audio on. We got a little jungle music here in the background, but as soon as we hear a retarded sounding old man mumbling, let's make sure we switch over to the fucking...
The White House is notoriously bad for like just showing up late. I mean, even in the Trump administration, everything was like
Yeah,
15, 20, 25 minutes late.
they're making sure their Biden AI is all working in that shit or something. The mask is fitting
The
well.
funny part is when Trump was president, we'd be like, well, he's working hard right now. He can't, he can't get to the table.
It's a pretty fair comment.
Yeah.
We don't police ourselves very hard. Assume it's if Trump, it's for a good reason.
Yeah, right.
All right. Still nothing, huh? Nothing. Well, look at that. Art Funk Butter. Great name. Do you guys think there's going to be a civil war?
It's just a matter of when.
Who says
It's a yes from me, hi.
we're already in a civil war?
426.9.
One thing I'll say,
Thank you, Lord of the Ree.
I'll say, don't let the Democrats walk you into a trap and let the Republicans start the Civil War.
Yeah.
Be the nice guys, be smiling, let them do their thing. It's going to be inevitable. I don't know if it's going to happen in 5
But
years,
this-
10 years, 20 years, tomorrow.
It does raise a serious
Let 'em do
question,
their
though. And at several Turning Point USA conventions that I've been to, somebody always asks a speaker like Michael Knowles or Charlie, when does the Second Amendment become justifiably used against our own federal government?
That's the entire reason we have in the first place.
We're going to start dropping
good
frames
question.
now that Danny said that, just to clue you in, audience.
yeah.
But no, I'm just kidding. It's all good.
In Minecraft. In Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
Because you could think of a couple cases recently where police have raided people's homes, right? Where you could justify.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania, particularly Mark Huock, I think is his name, the pro-life advocate that was running for Congress against Brian Fitzpatrick in the primary. He was one of the pro-life advocates whose homes was raided.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think? Do you think he's going to?
Yeah, throw your thoughts out there.
Yeah,
I'll be pulling up the chat here periodically. We got one of the most interactive streams on the internet, I got to say.
Right.
Very proud of it.
Yeah. Do you guys think he's going to drop out? Do you think he's just going to say, "Screw the haters, I'm going to stay in"?
I think he's...
I think he's going to stay in. Honestly.
Is his love for keeping his son out of prison more important than appeasing the Democratic leadership?
If he stays in, I think they're going to kill his ass.
They're going to
Like, honestly.
Well,
JFK him.
I think the negotiation, if there even is one, and thank you, Lord of the Reef, for the reminder, smash that rum blussy like RFK eating ass in the Caribbean. But yeah,
all right, hold on. Someone fill me in.
Yeah.
Fill me in. What does that mean?
We're young.
What does that mean?
throw us a like or a thumbs up on whatever channel you're watching on, so we can get as many people in this stream as possible for
I
those
saw-
kind of comments. RFK had a brain worm that you could only get from eating asshole, apparently.
Oh, that's what it is. I saw you ate dog. I didn't see.
Oh,
he
he
was
ate that
eating
too.
ass.
But did he eat a dog's asshole is the question.
Dog or like dog? Like
Oh, jeez.
Like- another man or like actual dog?
no.
Oh, no, like a
he ate
literal
dog.
dog he ate.
But he didn't eat a dog's asshole. He ate a dog and an asshole. In
I don't
separate
know
occa-
if you can
separate
definitively say that he didn't eat a dog's
occasions.
asshole.
I wasn't there.
Danny, can I steal one of these?
Yes, sir.
Since you had 47 of mine earlier. Just kidding. About 280 people right now on YouTube. Everybody's pumped for this, just like we are, and I respect it, and I don't blame you.
Oh, Sergio! Garza's here. Proud of you, Mimi. Love you, baby.
Oh, you got some you guys are world famous.
Hey, he lives in Mexico.
Wow.
He's going to hear me talk about how much I want to deport all the Mexicans. Now he's going to...
I said the same thing.
Hey, I still love you, though.
I lived in San Antonio for a while. That was good times. I became known as El Güero. Do you know what that means?
What?
El Güero. It's a light-skinned Mexican.
Is it
You know how
like
there's
the-
light and dark-skinned black people? Like some black people are very black and
I
some are
thought,
very...
like, what, is it the word like mestizo or something? I thought that's what.
That's like the literal word for being half white and half,
Okay.
I think. But I can't believe this hasn't started yet. Like nothing. Okay.
I mean, I expect it since it's Bayern we're talking about.
Since we're killing a few minutes here,
Probably fell down the stairs.
I can't type.
What?
Trans.
You talking about that Greek sandwich?
Gyro?
No,
I thought that was like Middle Eastern.
Technically, it's
Whatever it
pronounced gyro.
it's not Why Basque? It says, "Hey man, this sounds like Basque." No,
Well,
it's
that's
not Ba-
Spanish.
It's not any. It's Basque.
Yeah, Basque is like an area in Spain.
All right,
Gyro.
there's two spellings of this.
All
There
right.
was a G. I was about to.
We just
Then-
broke 300.
Spanish.
That one. Blonde.
So that would
Close
that would
enough.
Make sense. That would make sense.
So there's light and dark skinned black people. There's light and dark skinned Mexicans. Some are darker than others, right? And there's ones that look straight up white, and the word for them is güero.
Like Alvarez, the Canelo guy,
I don't know who that is, but
the
yes.
boxer. He's a ginger. He's a Mexican, but he's ginger.
Okay, this might. Mestizos are Native American and Hispanic. Aren't Hispanics Native Americans from the Southern Hemisphere? Or like Mexico and South?
This is terrible.
These are the pictures here.
A pale skinned or blonde male person, but specifically Mexican.
Huh.
And it's just so there was another dude I worked with that was an actual Mexican who was like light skinned, and they all called him güero. And then they got confusing when they started calling me that. I called him Spix.
Sorry, Sergio.
Which you're allowed to do when you run drugs for cartels for a while. So I feel like I've earned it. I didn't really do that. I walked them. I can't believe this has a start. You guys don't know me well enough. You're just playing it safe. You're like, I'm just not going to say anything to that one. Pretend that didn't happen. I don't know this guy. I just realized that I'm stuck alone with him in a studio.
I swear to God, if he makes us wait until 7, I will lose my mind.
Well, we're picking people up. Let me throw the chat up here while we talk and see what your guys... Oh, mestizos are super dark. Oh, I'm thinking of Castillo. That's okay. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're done with that. We're waiting for Joe Biden to make a fool of himself.
All right, what do you guys predict he'll talk about? I am 100% certain that he's going to bring up Project 2025 because that is the campaign strategy.
I legitimately think he might not get that far.
Hey,
don't think so?
Hey guys, hey, I'm young, I'm fit, I'm ready
I'm
to lead this country
mentally challenged.
against white supremacy.
I can beat him at golf. I can beat Orange Man at golf.
If he does that well, I'll be surprised.
The funny thing is, he's the orange man now.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
he does look
It's
orange
kind of
now.
funny, right? Yeah.
Can't beat him, join him. If you can't beat him, join him. Nothing yet from the official White
Democracy is the greatest threat to the republic.
House. Democracy is a threat to our democracy. People allowing to vote for their own things is a threat to our democracy. I actually hate democracy. I'm kind of with Plato on true democracies, but we're not a democracy, and you all know that. We're a monarchy.
We're more like a corporate oligarchy. To be honest with you.
Yeah. You Eastern Europeans would know about that.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
man.
That's right. I love
Nothing.
that.
We're 10 minutes behind now.
We just have dead air.
You guys chat for a minute. I'm going to just make sure there's not some other better stream going on here.
Patrick Miller, I will not stop drinking Coors.
Is that the one that turns blue when it gets cold?
Just be
Yeah, the
thankful.
mountains are not blue, but it's
Just be thankful he's not drinking Bud Light.
So apparently he introduced Zelensky as President Putin.
yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Wait, when did he do this, though, if there's no live stream?
So
Uh,
it's the NATO
Yeah,
like
look it up on Twitter. You could find it.
NATO's meeting right now.
Did you
So we
guys
can-
like
Tell them how much money
see.
we're gonna give them.
I see.
when I was like younger, I had no idea that Putin requested to join NATO.
Oh yeah. In the
Like-
'90s.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I wasn't born until
No,
2003.
but yeah,
So,
fair. I hear you, but yeah, Bill Clinton's the one that turned him down.
yeah.
That would have been the total victory on the Cold War, is to have NATO, an organization created to fight against the Russians, and then have Russia try to join NATO. Sounds like game over, but apparently we weren't about it.
Oh, nothing works on this
Sorry, let
acne.
me
Hi.
skip this ad real quick.
I'm a
This is Fox News. I think. Yes.
Yep.
Which one of those boats is Biden supposed to be on? I don't get it.
He's on the ghost ship.
Which one?
They're zooming in.
Wait, which one says Lolita Express on it?
All right, so I guess he really hasn't started. They're probably like just sticking every drug known to man and defibrillating him in the back.
They're drugging him up. They're putting all sorts of needles inside of him.
Oh man, I like to try to make myself, as you were just doing there, Jack, like actually throw out a prediction before it starts, just to hold myself accountable, like a serious one.
Yeah, because what could he possibly say that hasn't been said already? He's an insurrectionist. He's like he denied COVID. Like he got people killed from COVID. Like he worked with.
No. He
Putin.
doesn't cite insurrections.
Let me.
Donald Trump incites erections.
I got the chat up, so we're good to distribute here.
We have the pizza.
We got some pizzas.
We are pizza pilled.
We're pizza pilled.
Please never say that again.
All right, I'm keeping an eye on the stream. Nothing yet. It should be pepperoni or something, right? There we go. That can stay up safely. Are they is it all the same?
Danny, you gotta move it so it's not in front of the camera.
We'll deal with that. I got a little break for you guys. Get your pizzas, and then we'll deal with it.
This is gonna turn into an ASMR video real quick.
I like these kind of videos. Oh, thank you, Mihai. You want some of this shit?
Yeah, I'll take a piece. Single slice.
Yeah, will you actually just throw one piece on there for me?
You're about to get 2.
All right, throw 2 pieces on there.
Uh-oh. No kitty. No kitty.
Oh yeah, the cats might actually go for it. You can throw them a little piece of crust. They'll probably like it. We're watching some sort of construction for whatever reason. Let me go back over to the. That's muted, right? Let me go back to the official one. Nothing.
Thank you.
Nothing. So this has a little more activity here. We got some kind of hurricane going on. They're just killing time. Everybody's killing time. Welcome if you're just joining us. We are ourselves waiting for Biden, who was scheduled for 5:30, pushed back to 6:30. It is now 6:43 Eastern Time. He's about 15 minutes behind. No big surprise. We're letting everybody in the studio get some pizza before we throw any cameras on them.
Patrick Miller, you ain't gonna stop me if I have some gummy bears.
Oh, it's so hot! It's so hot! It's so hot. Oh, that was hot.
Yeah.
Ah.
I was going to
There's a
say.
reason it's just sitting on a plate.
There's steam coming out of your mouth.
The cheese is just melting off.
So you guys have a bite there off camera. Since I just
It was pushed back to 7, according to Greg F.
Is that true? Now it's at 7?
Fuck, Greg.
So this might not even happen at this point. It's kind of what I'm starting to think. There's like literally this epic like
talk about dropping the ball and then you just didn't show up.
behind the scenes as they're just literally trying to resuscitate him or something.
I'm
It's-
telling you, he fell down the stairs.
Honestly, not even joking, there's a good chance he's dead right now.
There's a good chance he was dead a while ago.
We're seeing a weatherman.
Yeah, I got Fox going
Houston
here.
weather, what's it looking like?
This is the official one, but they just ain't going yet. So yeah, Houston weather. Why not? Hey, remember when I was telling you
Traffic's
that
looking pretty light,
everything's
though.
really flat in Texas, so all the cities are really nicely laid out with the concentric circles? There you go.
I like our mountains.
I hate Houston. That's Houston. Yeah, Houston. Fuck
I've been to
Houston.
San Antonio. That Sergio guy, he used to live in San Antonio. I visited him. San Antonio was pretty cool.
I
but
love
I've never
I love San Antonio. I hate Houston. Houston's a swamp.
been. The Alamo is a little underwhelming, given that it's like really small.
That's smaller than our studio.
But what's really cool is across the street from the Alamo is a bar. I forget the name of it, but that's where Teddy Roosevelt founded the Rough Riders. In that
Probably
bar.
called the Alamo Bar.
No, it's really old, and it's literally where he founded the Rough Riders in the 1800s.
What is? I know this.
It's something like generic, like Independence Cafe or something like that.
Nope, nothing.
I want to give a
I
shout
want
out
to start a stock market themed bar in State College.
Oh, I've seen those. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're all
Mhm.
over Europe.
Yeah, where you like the drinks price fluctuates on
Based
who's
on the-
buying
yeah.
and selling. Yeah.
And then you have weekend crashes where you get the students plastered and make them spend as much money as
Yeah.
possible.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
All right.
I want to give a shout out to my boy Connor, who's tuning in right now. The Biden press conference is late. That's not good. You think he's resigning?
He's asking that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we are very behind right now. We're just going to eat some pizza and drink a little more alcohol while we're
You
waiting,
guys-
I guess.
You guys know who Davy Crockett is?
David Crockett.
How
Of
cool
course.
is Davy
Did you
Crockett?
say David?
Yeah, it's his real name,
Oh,
David.
Yeah. David.
I
Crockett.
don't-
David
I'm not
Crockett.
I'm not making fun of you. I just don't know if I've ever heard someone say David Crockett. You don't know?
What do you think my real name is?
Davy
No.
Crockett. Jim Bowie.
Nah. That's funny, actually.
Davy Crockett is like a hero I grew up with from like my grandparents' generation.
Yeah, Fess Parker in the old movies, baby.
I used to know the damn song. How'd that
Born
song?
on a mountaintop in Tennessee, greenest state in the land of the free.
Did he kill a bear or something?
I think the
Killed
biggest
himself a
psyop,
bar when he
Yeah, a
was
bar.
3.
A
the
bar.
biggest psyop of my life is being told to believe he's not from Alabama. or like
Mihai?
middle of Appalachia.
I know. Danny was telling me that the other day, Mihai. He couldn't believe. He's like, you have to be from Alabama or something.
Me?
Like, there's no way you're Eastern European.
I
The most redneck
I
looking
am
American.
the least Hungarian looking guy you'll ever meet. When I go to Hungary, I do not fit in. Last time I was there, I was wearing my cowboy boots, and everywhere I went, hey, Texas, yeah, Texas cowboy, yeah, go, Dallas cowboy, yeah.
I think you could pull off Hungarian.
If I used to, when I was in like high school and middle school, I had a high and tight, real fade, you know. And I was looking a lot different.
Did you wear a tracksuit all the time, or is that Russian?
When I go there, I wear a tracksuit.
Do they wear
for sure.
tracksuits
Oh,
there?
for sure.
Why is
Isn't
that?
that just like you would look like an Albanian?
Have you
Why
ever-
do they love tracksuits?
Have you ever worn anything more comfortable? Like, how comfortable is a tracksuit?
Not incredibly comfortable in like the middle of like Pennsylvania summers.
Yeah, but like in a gray, cloudy day in Eastern Europe, it's pretty sweet.
I would love to have gray, cloudy days all the time in our summers here. Instead of this 91 degrees.
It is. Pennsylvania's humid, man.
Yeah.
It's the humidity.
Well, it's
so-
basically the South, but it's not the South.
There's
Yeah.
B-Rock. There's B-Rock.
B-Rock. Oh, is something happening? No, they're still in the break. So who the fuck knows at this point? I'm going to pull up the internet here in a second. Can I hand this? I don't think I need the second one right now.
We could probably pull up that clip of Biden calling Zelensky Putin.
I just know the second I start doing that, he's going to come on. I'm going to give him like...
Well, now it is because you jinxed it.
Let me see if there's any news on what's going on here.
That's right. Andrew Fess Parker's the man.
That's the link we already have set up. Still says 6:30. What the fuck, man?
Keep in mind, this man is keeping us waiting this long, and you're supposed to think that he will be able to handle a geopolitical crisis in the Middle East at 2 in the morning.
Well, we're out. It's past 4 p.m., so we're out of his window, right? 10 to 4 or whatever it was. What'd they say? They openly said.
If they can push it off till 8 o'clock, he won't do it.
That's, oh, yeah, 8 o'clock. Yeah, that's right. You want to come up here, Orange Cat? Ugh. You say, no, I want some pizza. OCG? Nope. Yeah, OCG. That's OCG. Say hello, and then I'll let you go chase some pizza. What's up, guys? He's very, very anti-Semitic and Judaic as well. Don't listen to him too much.
Cat's words, not mine.
Cat's words, not mine. He's now going after... You gonna defend that pizza? He'll eat it, man. He likes it.
Yeah, I don't see anyone talking about the press conference on Twitter. I see people tweeting it's Jover and Project 2025.
It has not started. Still, is it 7 o'clock? No, 6:50. 6:50. He is now 20 minutes behind. Just cracked 400 on YouTube. I think everybody's trying to figure out, bouncing around streams, trying to figure out what's going on. Let me pull up the chat and say hello. Say hello. Goldfish1, Andrew Miller, Jimmy Lowe, welcome. Ruth Up, Molo Tulo, welcome back. David Smith, welcome back. I worked with Davy Crockett's great-grandson. You don't say. That's kind
No
of crazy.
way.
Did he kill a bar when he
Roughneck?
was only
He's a
3?
roughneck. That makes sense. That adds up.
Pipeline, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Parody Bear, welcome. Alien Testosterone, welcome. Jeff Poor, welcome, and welcome back.
Ooh, it's Puss Puss, beautiful cat.
Do you guys ever wonder why people that are transgender can get testosterone for like free, and us men, we can't?
Why can't we get steroids? Good point, Danny.
You can't get steroids.
Let's run on.
You can't get.
We should run on a platform that all men should be able to get free testosterone.
You have me. You have me.
All right. I mean, where do I vote?
I don't want to admit I need it because it makes me look like a beta male, but I'll take it. You giving
Michael
it?
Trideca, and welcome.
Giving it
Trideca
away,
is one
I'll
of
take
our
it.
regulars. Good to have you. If you look closely at the harbor shot, you can see Biden in a small boat with Michael Corleone.
Fredo.
There he is. There he is. Oh, they cut away from our small boat. Still, I'm not messing around with you guys. Anybody's like, why the fuck are you guys talking and not showing Biden? He hasn't come out yet. All right, so if you're just joining, which a lot of people are coming in at, which is awesome, but if you're just joining, that is why. We are waiting like you are waiting. The second it goes down, we'll start it back up. Until now, we're just kind of killing time, making predictions. So where was that? I was around Parody Bear B-Dog. Welcome back. Rachel Jane, the one and only. Proud Boy Troy, welcome. Skeeter Berserk, Stephen James, welcome back.
A hard cider once in a while is fine, but beer literally makes men gay. You get that, Mihai?
Mihai texted me.
Well, let's see here. I mean, we could break this down a lot of different ways. One, I don't know any masculine men, no offense, boys, that drink cider. Two, I do agree that they do put fluoride in the old Coors Light here, so I try and keep that down
You're
to a
throwing
I think it's
minimum.
more about the phytoestrogens.
That's you kill two birds. You don't brush your teeth because that's got the fluoride.
That's right. You know, it's no cavities for this guy. I only drink beer.
You slandered the entire show. That's insane.
I'm a fan of it.
Listen, he explained to me the whole thing. I didn't know it was a book. I'm a dumb person. I don't read. So I get it now. It's a cool reference. I just was confused by the whole we have to drink cider thing. That was my own thing. I was like, I'm bringing beer. I'm not drinking cider.
He said, I'll come, but I'm not going to drink any cider because I'm not gay.
That is a direct quote.
It's a direct quote.
Hard cider's like the most American thing out there.
I don't love cider, to tell you the truth. I don't mind it. I don't mind
The truth
it.
comes out.
No, I mean, it's a little sweet. I don't like sweet shit. Laughing Dog. Bets on high as fuck Joey. Yeah, we've been. Thank you, Laughing Dog, our delegate from Wisconsin, by the way.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be drugged up. He was probably drugged up for the last debate.
Yeah,
but he
there's
didn't
no
perform well.
way. I think something might literally be going wrong that this hasn't started yet. Like he might not fucking come out. I don't know. We'll see. What were we just talking about, though? Sorry. No, I'm a huge fan of giving each other shit. Like, you should call, if I'm drinking a cider. If I'm drinking a beer, you should call me. You should give me homophobic hate.
We need more of that.
I need
We'll
more
call you man titties when you drink beer.
man titties,
Yeah,
racism.
That's fair.
I think you should try to find something that really gets under my skin, and then you should just mercilessly lean into it once you find it.
John, you kind of look Jewish when you drink that cider.
L'chaim! That's how you say cheers in Jew, right?
That is, I believe.
He Jew?
Oy.
What's the language? He
Hebrew.
Jewish?
Hebrew.
He Jew.
Yeah.
Oy vey, John. Oy vey.
She brew. All right, let's not assume.
Hey, watch the chutzpah.
She brew and Hebrew. Zerbrew. I speak some Zerbrew. How many genders of brew do you guys speak? I don't mean that gay Angry Orchard shit.
I mean, literally putting whiskey in your apple cider.
I speak
This
no
guy
brew.
sounds
I know
based.
nothing.
Orange Cat's back for some more pizza. You can give him a little piece of crust
Yeah,
if
I
somebody
gotta
wants
watch
to.
out if I were you.
You also don't have to. I mean, you can tell him to fuck off.
this is
He's
a
like,
predator.
hey man,
Ew, kitty. He doesn't know.
it's probably too big. He's got a really small. You got to give him a small piece. Oh, you might take it.
There you go.
This cat eats some weird food.
He's like Garfield.
His favorite food is brioche bread.
He really is Garfield.
What, is Garfield like brioche?
No, he likes lasagna, but like he still eats like.
He probably would eat. He likes cheese. What's the man? He eats. Oh, ranch dressing. This cat will chug ranch dressing. Ice cream.
I've never heard of that before.
This cat will go nuts for it. Should we give him some ice cream on? Is that animal abuse? We don't give this cat any human food. Get the fuck off the table, cat. And no, we're not totally I'm keeping an eye on it. It has not started yet. I don't know why. Is he out of the camera now?
John, you're in competition with Sticks, Hex, and Hammer and having a cat as your co-host.
A cat. Yeah, I don't. This is again. So you really can make fun of me. I'm aware cats are very gay. Like, I'm aware. And Sticks is a little bottomy looking, to be honest. But I never thought I'd like cats till I got Orange Cat Good. I got him randomly because I'd been YouTubing for 5 years and I hadn't talked to another human being. And I was like, I really ought to have something around to take care of. And then I learned that you don't ever need to do shit for a cat. You get a litter box, basically. And they're born knowing how to use it.
You seen the rings you can put around your toilet seat and you make them, train them, teach them to go to the toilet?
I almost went that route, but I didn't really have a need for it. But
It'd be
yeah.
kind of weird if I walked in and saw your cat shitting in the toilet. I'd be.
All you got to do is if you just put a litter box in the toilet, and then you just slowly take the litter box out, and it'll just keep using the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
Christine 1, my love language is homophobia. Thank you, Christine. Empress Christine the First, I'm guessing.
I think I just found my wife.
Let's get you Mihai's info immediately. We're not being dicks. We are waiting like everybody else. Surely you've probably bumped around a couple streams by now and noticed the same thing. He hasn't started yet.
Should we check what people are saying on Twitter?
Yeah,
Or
that's not a
X?
bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Let's go to what Biden press con.
This was supposed to start at 6:30, and it's almost 7.
Well, it was originally scheduled for 5:30.
It's true cats are gay. I'm required by law to have 2 cats because Obama said I was too straight.
Yes, that's why I have cats as well. I was doubly straight. My gender is double straight.
If you're
And
double
so-
straight, though, that's 2 lines. Does that not make you gay?
It makes you gay.
Not
I'm
gay.
so straight, Danny, it made you gay.
That's wild.
All right, does anybody see anything? Are we starting? I'm on top. Latest.
You still got the big boy press conference. Is that what you're trying to filter it by?
No, I don't. I just have press conference.
Oh, jeez. I can't read.
Actually, that might get me closer, though.
Meh.
What is wrong with my finger? There you go. My love language, Road Dog, and by the way, welcome back, Road Dog, is open.
Is this a flirt? Like, is the comment section now flirting
Sometimes
with
they flirt with each other. Oh, and Mihai.
Is this like a thing?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. You'll get some fans. It happens.
No. I mean, like, is this like a play on him being Hungarian?
I
We
don't.
need clarification.
When you
on
say
that.
this, I'm trying to do two things at once. I'm not even sure what you're talking. Cat. OCG is going nuts for this pizza. I'm not forgetting. He still hasn't started. Latest top. What did you say, big boy? All right.
Wait, scroll down a little bit. Let me see that.
Look at it. It's just escalating. So first one is and then they added Whoopi Goldberg.
That's a clip we were telling.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, and now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
Oh!
President Putin. He's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky.
Oh, shit.
The fact that people still clapped shows you how paid off they are.
So, yeah, I want to change my prediction. This is going to go worse.
Yeah, that was an hour ago. What's it gonna be like now?
He will single-handedly start World War III at this press conference.
I think he might legitimately have, like, sundowned or whatever they call it. And they're like...
You might
"Hey-"
accidentally declare war on Russia. You're right.
All right, holy fuck.
Let's make a pact to break each other. Well, you're fine, John. But Mihai and Jack, we're breaking each other's legs if he starts World War III at this press conference.
Oh, yeah, you guys are right in the middle of the meat grinder if it goes down, aren't you?
Drafting age.
Yeah, and me over here, uneducated, didn't go to college, so I'm the first one to get.
You're going to
freaking
be
drafted,
the
yeah.
first one
Get
grabbed.
me
I'm
into
in the
law
first
school.
line. Yeah.
All right, I got to build some kind of, like, safe room for you in my basement.
I'll go back to Hungary.
And when
I'm just kidding. I'll never leave.
who's the guy that plays the Jew hunter in Inglourious Bastards?
The Jew Bear?
No, not the
Bear?
bear, not the bear Jew, the Nazi that hunts Jews.
Oh, Christoph Waltz.
That's his name.
Yeah.
He's gonna come looking for you, and I'm gonna have you. We're gonna relive that first scene of the movie.
You're like Anne Frank.
No, this will be real.
Ah.
That's wild. I can't laugh at that. I will be.
I think
right.
it's okay to joke about. I really do, and I'm not.
Here's a question.
I'm not totally
I'm coming out of
joking.
nowhere with this. Who do you think makes the money off the proceeds from the Anne Frank diary?
Her dad, right?
Well, her dad's definitely dead if she's dead.
Her estate then.
So, like, is there like
But who would be her
50
estate? She
people
was, like,
related to it,
15.
yeah.
Thank you, Art Funk Butter, by the way. So what her dad wrote half of it or something.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, he had to settle legally.
That
So
makes sense why a 13-year-old girl, whatever she was able to write such a sophisticated novel, right? You know.
Well, remember when people tried canceling her? Canceling Anne Frank over off-color jokes. That was an actual thing that
wait,
happened.
they were wait because she was being inappropriate. They were saying.
Yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing. Look it up. That actually
I don't
happened.
feel bad at all now.
I had a Dutch guy once. He told me, I asked him what Anne Frank's house was like. He said, "Don't go there. There's nothing there." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Nothing there." And then he walked away. And I realized that I think he's keeping up the act. I think he's just not letting me know.
Oh my God! When are you coming on, Joe?
Did you just say, what are you coming
When
on,
are you?
John?
I said, when are you coming on? Comma space Joe. What did I actually say?
Punctuation is important.
He's really pushing it
Could
with
have
that
came across,
comma.
when are you coming on, Joe?
When am I? Oh, like that? Did you see that Twitter video? Some dude who jizzed on some other girl. That was all over the internet today. Never mind.
Andrew Miller, how old are you that it reminds you of the time that FDR announced Mussolini?
It is now past 7. What is taking him so long?
Dude, this is. I'm kind of surprised it's this late.
I'm telling you, if they push it to 8 o'clock, they're going to get out of it.
I think this motherfucker might have died.
Corn Pop finished the job.
He might be combing his hairy legs.
All right, well, that is probably hopefully your last chance. Hopefully this won't go too much longer to make your predictions, if you have one. If you have one, make your predictions. We'll give that like 2 minutes. The chat's, I think, a little less than 60
Mr.
seconds
Patrick
behind.
Miller, we know Hunter can.
Aneurysm. That's Thos's bet. Did this stream just start Circle Jerk? Oh, a little bit ago. We started a new stream after Cider House. So yes, this is a different stream. Drop frames are great. It's like, whatever reason, better than the last one. That might go downhill as soon as Joe starts talking. But we are genuinely waiting. If you're just joining us, he has not gone live yet. Originally scheduled 5:30, then pushed to 6:30. Now it's past 7:04. TNG, Tactical Miata. So, be honest, who didn't see this coming? Him not showing up at all, I honestly didn't think that would happen. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but my eyebrows are raised at this lateness. You guys all checking. Trying to get some insider info to give us a hot take. I got nothing. I'll pull Twitter back up here. Let's see if that gives us anything different. This is indeed his big boy press conference. Why they called it that, nobody knows. Don't know. Nothing. Latest.
Do you ever ask yourself, like, and just sit there and wonder how we got to this point where Joe Biden is the president of the United States? You just
Trump
wonder
Fraud.
how things have gone so wrong.
They got teleprompters set up. No surprise there.
Will Biden drop out of the race during his big boy press conference tonight?
All right, say group vote so we can vote on this poll together.
Oh, wait, here's, I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently Joe Biden is still 20 to 30 minutes. That was 30 seconds ago. And he's going to take 4 questions. All right. So we have a little bit of time, I guess. Sorry, what were you saying, Mihai?
Well, 2 things. One, this is definitely a hit job from the establishment on Joe Biden, trying to just make him look bad. I think
You
that's,
think so?
that's what I'm getting at this point.
Okay.
They're just really trying to get him out of there. 2, let's take a vote right now as a group on this poll right here. Do you think Joe Biden will drop out during the race?
I don't think so.
I'm a
I'm
normie
no.
on this. I'm sticking with no.
I'm sticking no too.
You're making me vote on my Twitter account that I don't care about at all?
Absolutely.
So no, we're saying?
Yeah.
It says not John Ward, doesn't it?
I'm the only one that voted. You're welcome, Sigmod. This person has a following. He's the smartest NFT bro you know in 2024.
Hold on.
Oh, wait, there we go.
Scroll through this guy a little bit.
He's
Let's
got
see what he's about.
He's got 43 votes. All right.
I trust him more than Boogie.
I don't know. Yeah, Boogie and who was the other one?
See,
Rich?
that stuff makes me mad. Gen Z gets a bad rep because of just a couple people on
Oh, I
TikTok.
saw this. Yeah.
Look at us right here.
They're not representative of
Yeah,
our
look at us.
generation.
All
Mihai,
right,
unfortunately, I think we are the outliers on the bell curve.
you guys are. You're gonna feel my pain in 10, 20
I don't know
years.
if we are though. We're not a majority, but
That's
we're a bigger percentage than previous.
I honestly think
generations.
let me get back to us here. But we're still waiting. 500 now on YouTube. If you're just joining us, we, like everybody else, are waiting for fucking Joe Biden to start talking. We saw one tweet that said he's 20 to 30 minutes behind. He's now 40 minutes behind, 47, 37. But it's supposedly still coming on, and we'll go to the stream, which we have set up as soon as that happens.
Okay.
Sorry, Mihai, or whoever was talking.
Let's do some just.
Was it me? I don't even know what I was saying.
Let's just do some guesses. Like, how do you possibly save his public image? What can he possibly say?
Like, if...
What could he physically
All right,
possibly
so working
say?
backwards from, like,
Not
I'm
much.
sitting there stunned because Joe Biden just convinced me to vote for him. And then working backwards from that, what is it that he said? I don't think it's possible.
No, yeah. There's not even like from like anything.
Curing
possible.
and cancer for Boogie 2988.
He's curing Boogie's cancer, Trideca. You may be right. You may be right.
Is this guy listening to us when we're not on? He's in on the old inside conversation.
He's a sharp guy.
Yeah.
He's a sharp guy. Does anyone want to answer his question? What did he say? Hold on, let me pull it back up real quick, as we were laughing too hard to fully read it. Boogie. Wait, who's this Boogie dude, Jack? He's
Boogie
like a-
2988 is this really well-known YouTuber, or he was well-known. He was regarded as like the Mr. Rogers of YouTube at some point. Like,
so that's
do you
why.
Remember, do you remember the guy who like the Francis character, who would do a bunch of gamer like rage rants, like sketches?
You mean like the person you have a rivalry with?
No, like like he would rage out, like just destroy everything. Like it is for comedy's
I
sake.
don't know if I do know that,
But he's infamous for being very emotionally manipulative to his audience. So recently he scammed a bunch of people into buying his shitcoin, which is a scam Bitcoin. And like CoffeeZilla, a YouTuber who exposed scammers, like did it.
Oh, I do know. Yeah, okay.
He made a good video, like calling him out on this. But recently on his podcast, the Lolcows podcast he does with
Sorry, Jack.
he does with Keemstar, he got exposed by Destiny, that Destiny, the streamer. And,
I do know Destiny.
and he basically called him out, saying that he's been lying about being diagnosed with cancer for 2 years because he never gave a proper diagnosis.
Something happening?
Fox is showing something according to Premium Nick, but I don't know what they're talking about.
Let's check on it. That's what Fox has. Commercial break.
Yeah, but getting back to Boogie, like Destiny offered him $5,000 if he could give his medical records, like show them on stream to show that he actually has cancer, and he said no. Like Boogie said no.
Yeah, and then he just blatantly lied or whatever.
Yeah, and then Mr. Medicare like came on the stream later, like a guy who actually has cancer, and just calling him out again, and it's just wild. That's one of the most.
That's pretty low.
Yeah, that's one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen.
That is pretty damn low.
And I've seen a bunch of drama on YouTube.
Let me pull up here real quick. Circle jerk. John, you were long hair Metallica. Don't you dare say shit like that to me. Please don't ever turn into... Oh, I'm sorry. I read you backwards. Please don't ever turn into short hair Metallica. With all these new funding and groupies, this is obviously not going to be a shitty version of Metallica. You guys on the internet.
That's hilarious. You know about Metallica's concert in Russia?
No.
So they have the largest concert ever
Was
with
it
a
like
a
over
million
1 million
people.
people?
Yeah. And so here's the whole conspiracy, right? Blues was apparently created by the CIA, right?
Like the genre of music?
The
Okay.
genre of music. They funded... Same thing with like modern pop art was funded by the CIA. Blues,
I kind of might believe that one.
blues, I could go in a hole. Let me go on the blues
Save
first.
your
So
story.
blues started by the CIA, allegedly. Blues leads to rock and roll. Rock and roll leads to heavy metal. Heavy metal is Metallica. So you think about it, the CIA, in one way or another, won the Cold War with 1 million people watching Metallica in freaking Moscow. If it is true, it's kind of cool. Makes you want to mix.
When you say one way or another, I think you gave us the another version.
Well, I'm just over here making a case for the deep state. You
They had
know?
1 million. Is that true?
Yeah, that was over 1 million people.
Where the fuck do you put 1 million people?
Right in the middle of the city.
1 million?
1 million.
I mean, you
so
get-
they say.
If you have 1 million people in New York City, but they're not going to all see the same stage.
Look them up.
I don't know how it's physically possible. But
Look it up.
I believe you. I'm not going to look it up.
nah, we can just say it happened.
Biden.
All right. I'm kind of surprised, honestly. I wasn't expecting to have to stall this long. I really thought he'd be out. Nothing on the official stream.
If Metallica's not heavy metal, then what is heavy metal? I'm sorry, that's a genuine question.
Dragon Force.
Oh, you're gonna. So there's older guys are gonna be
Yeah,
real
the
particular.
guys that were in high school in the 90s. Or,
the
yeah.
Metallica guys, yeah.
Uh,
Jameson Collins, excuse me. Biden drops out, won't leave White House, cap it. All right, a strong prediction.
Okay, Dr. Strangelove.
Let's grab some more. If we have any in the chat. Predictions I'm talking about. There's some other good comments, but I'm looking for prediction ones.
Medicare doesn't just have cancer; he's got drug-resistant, super gay cancer AIDS.
That was the one that I skipped.
yes, Scorpions did Wind of Change. That's a good call out. You know that song, Winds of Change? No.
Hey, I can't understand what you're whistling because the winds of your whistle are changing
The winds
the
of the
sound.
change, yeah. No, that's a good song. It's about communism over in Eastern Europe, specifically Russia. But my dad, he has a good story about he had a bootleg tape of Winds of Change, and that was like his inspiration to escape and come over to America.
No shit.
Yeah,
Dude, that's pretty. We got to get a whole detail. We got to do like a documentary.
we should. My dad deserves like a book or something, but
Start writing.
We don't got.
he's
those
got to
kind
learn
of
English
stories.
first.
Here's a prediction. Biden announces $20 billion more to Ukraine.
He's going to die.
Thank you,
going
Zeb.
to die.
5 of you have just turned green. Welcome. Unbelievably, 7:15, 45 minutes behind now. Nothing. So make your predictions. William's channel, that is our storyboard artist, William Maines. Welcome. Biden stroked out. I'm starting to wonder.
What do you mean? He's striking out. He's doing a phenomenal job.
He's pitching like Kerry Woods. You guys probably don't know who that is.
Not a clue.
God, we got to work on we got to find some common references here.
Is that Tiger Woods' daughter?
It's like the most not Tiger Woods' daughter you can possibly be. He's a white professional pitcher. Baseball.
Who watches baseball now?
Nobody, because Kerry Woods stopped playing.
Yeah.
Baseball's tough to You've been to a baseball game though?
Real question.
Baseball going is fun because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
there, you're getting beer, you're getting hot dogs, whatever, you know.
To all the out of the U.S. viewers right now, is soccer gay?
Absolutely not. Soccer's the greatest sport in the world.
Well, they would call it football, number one, if they're not in the U.S., right?
Fair point.
I've been watching a little bit of, what's the fucking, Copa?
The Copa America and the Euros. The Euros have been going on. The Euros the better one.
Euros, yeah, that's
I was
right.
cheering for Uruguay against Brazil when I was at Champs the other night.
I would. That's a good bet. Not
Still,
a good bet.
still
but
waiting
they
for
beat
Biden.
America,
Just
so.
if you're just joining us, we're waiting like everyone else
Don't
for
know
Biden.
anything about soccer, but I was supporting Uruguay.
Well, America's the best. We're the best in the world, didn't you know?
5-time repeat World Cup champs. There you go. You're getting your
You ever
answers.
seen the Women's World Cup? How many times did anyone else won?
You had 3 responses in a row that say super gay by 3 different people. Look at that.
Well, they're just not. They're not
Mihai, you are
European.
in the minority here.
Okay, I'm in the minority, but 70% of the world says soccer.
You know what ruins soccer for me, Mihai?
What's that?
Because I've seen like good games, right? Like the 2022 was that World Cup final.
Yeah,
Pretty intense.
with the Argentina and France.
Was that the 3-3 one that went to penalty kicks?
I don't remember the specifics.
I think it was. It's the fucking faking the fouls that
But
kills me.
so listen to this. You got to understand. If you're running around for 90 minutes straight, are you not going to take that extra 30 seconds to catch your breath? Like, I get it is annoying. I know they're faking it, but it's not about them faking the injury. It's about them just like
Counterpoint. Get
getting
this
a
cat out of here. I'm kidding. Just let him fucking. Biden's not even out yet. Is he trying to get? Are you feeding him? That's what's going on here. I couldn't see what Danny. I see Danny's hand now on Jack's screen, and the cat moving slowly towards it. Christian Delorme's Vinyl Revival. Some of your names, man. Hockey is the manliest game on earth, and then he put up a bunch of Indian flags for some reason. I don't really understand that.
Dude, you see freaking India celebrating the Cricket World Cup victory?
No,
about-
Mihai, I didn't see India.
Talk about 1 million people. Dude, it was the most people ever in like a public event. You got to watch the videos when you're out of here. Watch the videos. It's insane. The parade is insane.
I believe it.
So
they
what? They beat the British at a sport the British invented.
Exactly, yeah.
well, it helps when you have a talent pool. First of all, everyone beats the British at every sport the British invented. Let's keep that in mind. If you switch the
I'm not sure that adds up.
I see it.
I can't say that, though, because some guy said I'm an FBI plant earlier, so if I defend the CIA now, it's going to look bad.
I know the ATF is very gay. I know that for a
Well,
fact.
I can agree with that.
Oh my God, we're gonna be.
Biden ripped his liver suit.
I'm honestly not really I'm kind of shocked. I think Mihai might be right. This is like the establishment throwing him under the bus at this point.
Because he has no idea what's going on right now. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't even know he's over in Europe right now. And he thinks he's in America still. I mean,
Let's just do Biden. See what happens.
Was him saying Putin is the president of Ukraine his Freudian slip in saying he thinks Russia's going to win the war?
I think so.
I mean,
John, I do know that Big Boy is trending, so maybe try typing that.
I'm a little scared of what might show up.
Good point.
it's that black guy sitting on the edge of the bed.
I hate that I know what that is. I fucking use that in so many fucking memes.
Dude, I was on that so early. I was sending that out in like 2015.
That's an old one. Oh man. All right. Nothing.
It turns out Christine is not your girl.
Oh. Sorry, Mihai.
You broke my heart, Christine.
All right. My friends are asking me if we've considered the possibility that he might be dead.
I'm considering it at this point.
I
been
said that like
dead.
30
That's the
minutes ago.
problem.
What if he's just dead right
He's
now?
been dead, but he hasn't dropped out yet.
I was sitting here at 6 when we finished Cider House, so you guys want to hang out for 30 more minutes and catch this Biden. Like I said, we can hang out as I'm about ready to go have a cigarette at this point. Is something going to happen?
The minute you walk
I
out
know.
for a cigarette, he's going to come on.
I know. It's happened before. I just want like some kind of something, like a person. Fox doesn't know what's happening. It's like the President of the United States, allegedly, is supposed to give the biggest press conference of his term in an election year.
Wasn't that supposed to be like the State of the Union address is your biggest?
Well, I just mean like everybody's obviously hanging on this one. We got 5. Our numbers keep going up. Everyone's probably trying to figure out what the fuck's happening. I should do what other channels do, which is just lie. Just pretend like I know. I don't, though. I'm trying.
John, you should create an Instagram page for your show.
I hate Instagram.
You should still do it.
Why do you hate Instagram?
I don't know.
You should make a TikTok.
I honestly don't really know a lot about
I don't
it.
really know why I like it, so I'm just curious why you didn't like it.
When I don't want to talk about something, that's usually what I'll do. I'll just be like, I don't want to talk about it. That's in my head. It's like, I don't want to talk about Instagram right now, Danny. So I just say, I hate it, Danny.
You should install TikTok. Chinese malware is all the rage.
I actually did start a TikTok.
You did?
Yeah, and then I forgot about it. I just remembered I had it like a while. I have 0 subscribers.
Okay.
I don't even know if I put a video up.
Yeah.
But damn it, Jack, I made one.
You should make an Instagram.
I'll make an Instagram. I see a super here I missed, and I don't know why it's not
You
showing
need
up.
to like set up one for 3cc and then one for Cider House.
Jack
touched
touched
me.
me.
Your cat isn't safe. Fuck you, Ad. I know.
Oh,
I
this
know
is a
him.
friend of yours?
Yeah.
600 in here now.
He donated $20, Jack, just to insult you.
It's the biggest donation he's ever gotten.
I'll give you a $20 bill here, Jack, for that one. I got to pay that one forward. If anything, you got to use the $20 to do something like
is
that back to him.
hilarious. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to the troops, though. God bless America. God bless his country, and God bless troops, and God bless my friend that just texted me to shout out the troops.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like...
No, my friend just texted me.
I thought you were going to throw in something crazy at the
I
end
had
of
nothing to
this.
say. He wanted me to say that, so God
Amen.
bless
No, for
America.
real. For real. Oh, my God. All right. Everyone's been drinking. Everyone's been drinking.
You see, this is what happens when they delay the freaking...
I know. I was trying to peak right at 6:30, and now I'm blacking out. Nothing on Fox, nothing on the White House, just nothing. And then Twitter, nothing.
This is hilarious, though. This is real time watching the president collapse.
Other
we
than,
gotta keep
Now I
this
want to
going.
handle that.
Other than this
Now I
happened
wanna hand it over
earlier.
to the president
Look at the
of
rate.
Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. And now I want to hand it over to the
Come on.
president.
All right. So all we have is this clip from earlier of Biden calling Zelensky Putin. Hilarious. If you're just joining us, we just hit 750, by the way, on YouTube only. This is for Total War. I think you mean Total Win. Total Win is a classic. I don't know. Have you guys listened to any of my number one best-selling hit pieces of music?
I thought he was talking about the video game.
Well, maybe he was. I have a song called Total Win, and I figured that's what he was talking about.
You're probably right, given he's a fan of yours.
875. 875. It's the content that they're here for. They say, if I can't watch Joe Biden be retarded.
9:41 on my end.
Let me watch 3 college-age kids be retarded
And
With a millennial.
with a babysitter.
I think I look younger than you guys, honestly.
You
Just
don't
kidding.
look like you're almost 40.
Fucking kidding. It's because I'm not. It's part of my brand. I'm literally 15, dude. Trideca, that blue weather graphic is actually Biden's soul leaving the White House Palpatine style.
Well, doesn't that mean that we'll get Biden back in like a weird cloned old body eventually?
Oh, my God.
Are they executing Order 66 right now? Is that
Oh my goodness.
Holy shit,
Have
we're
we-
almost
have
at
we
1,000.
thought about that?
Who's the Jedi? Who's the Jedi? Is Trump the Jedi Order?
I'm
No,
sorry.
I think it's Pete Buttigieg is killing all the kids right now.
Mick M, I'm guessing they gave him too much pep medication and broke him. Sadly, yeah, maybe they gave him too much.
They overdosed Joe.
Oh wait, since we're trying to pass the time, Danny, do you want to rant about the Acolyte? How much you hate
Oh
it?
my gosh! Who here like?
I haven't watched it, but I've heard about it, so I stopped watching.
I've been
a while
watching
ago.
it with Danny and my roommate.
I ain't watching that
every
shit.
week.
Oh, wait. Oh, nope, it's an ad.
For Obama and Biden.
Yeah, but Danny, cook. You gotta cook.
No, so like, I'm just so disappointed with the Acolyte. Like, Ahsoka was great to an extent. The Mandalorian was great. Andor was phenomenal. And to be frank, Obi-Wan wasn't the best, but just because we got some screen service of Hayden Christensen, I loved it. Meanwhile, the Acolyte is just totally a flop. Like, ooh, lesbian witches are gonna they successfully turned the Star Wars franchise into an unappealing market to 18 to 52-year-old men.
Yeah, even if you're a Star Wars fan, like you're not a Star Wars
Well,
fan.
I'm confused. So you guys are too young to be original Star Wars fans, though. So what's
What do
happening?
you mean? What do you mean? Like
We came
you
out
can
of the
be any
prequel eras,
you can be
so-
any age and be an OG like Star Wars fan. But the thing about the Acolyte is that you can be a non-Star Wars fan and you still won't enjoy it because the pacing is terrible.
Zeb,
Like-
real quick, Zeb, Tucker said Pete Booty Juice isn't actually gay. I'm gonna have to double check
I
that.
did
That's true.
see that. Apparently, he was. I don't know if he was engaged or dating a woman before he was running for president, and then all of a sudden, when he's running for president, he became gay.
Oh,
I'm
he's
gonna have
faking.
to disagree with Mr.
His name's Booty Juice, though.
Orange Road. The
Butt gig.
prequels were not bad. Revenge of the Sith is a piece of artwork.
See, I'm on the same boat, but I think that's a generational thing for us.
we
Where
go.
I think the prequels are actually kind of good.
So your generation likes the prequels.
Yeah, fundamentally, they give you the backstory of the tragedy of Darth Vader.
Total Win, my bad, a classic masterpiece. George Lucas had a good point, which is that Star Wars is not like a high-level adult thinking kind of movie. It's like a
no.
fun. So I actually think the prequels aren't terrible in that regard. Free Golem, some zoomers bright, some zoomers dim. You already know it's not controversial. That's a different song he's referencing. Non-controversial. Man, that's a blast from the past.
But to be fair, like, analyze like the Acolyte at the same time you see House of the Dragon, shows with relatively similar budgets, but just the fundamental difference in the ability to write a good script. House of the Dragon is like the top show in the world right now.
Wait,
So-
House of the Dragon is good now again?
So I was under the impression it was bad, so I never watched it.
That's what I thought,
so
too.
if you're telling me it's good, I will watch
It's
it.
like the #1 show on HBO Max right
Danny,
now.
that doesn't mean
See,
shit about whether or not it's good.
It's not. It's not necessarily that House of Dragons was bad. It's that Game of Thrones, like the final seasons were so bad that people.
Well, I'll say
that
so. I
that
liked
attention.
Game of Thrones when it came out.
I do too. Like I love the first 4 seasons.
Yeah, first
And
4 seasons are
It's
unreal.
hard to
Yeah.
appreciate now, but that was so different than anything that existed at the time. And if you're just joining us, which we're now at 1300 about, we are waiting on Biden, and he's still not out. So we're just we're talking about Game of Thrones. But I liked. It's a good point. It got so bad, and everybody turned against it, rightfully so.
Yeah.
I did
Season
try to
7 and
watch
8 was rough.
House of the Dragon. That's the new one, right? House of the Dragon.
It was hard getting past the fact that Rhaenyra and Daemon are like
Black
uncle
and white?
No, uncle and niece, and they like get married. That's kind of weird. Not gonna lie.
Well, that's been like a Game of Thronesy thing for a while,
The
hasn't it?
first episode, yeah.
So, Cersei and what's his face?
Jamie.
And Jamie
Yeah,
are not
yeah,
an
yeah.
accurate representation.
Well, see, so
Of the rest
I
of
don't
the
like how they
population in
retconned a whole bunch of black people into it for no reason. I have nothing against black people, and this is what drives me crazy. Like I'm old enough. Do you guys know the movie Blade? You're-
Oh, hell yeah, Harrison Ford?
Oh, it's starting?
Joe Biden.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
He's here. He's here.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Bass sign interpreter.
Thank you. Please be seated. Well, good evening. We just concluded this year's NATO summit, and the consensus among the members was it was a great success. It was especially momentous because it represented the 75th year of the most important military defense alliance in the world's history of the world. We should never forget that NATO grew out of the wreckage of World War II, the most destructive war in history. The idea was to create an alliance of free and democratic nations that would commit themselves to a compact of collective defense. Standing together, they knew we'd all be safer. An attack on one would be treated as an attack on all. And it's worked because a would-be aggressor knows if they attack one of us, they'll be attacked by all of us. Sending that message is the best way to deter aggression and prevent wars in the first place. For those who thought NATO's time had passed, they got a rude awakening when Putin invaded Ukraine. Some of the oldest and deepest fears in Europe roared back to life because once again, a murderous madman was on the march. But this time, no one cowered in appeasement, especially the United States. We collected intelligence that Russia was planning to invade Ukraine months before the invasion. I directed the intelligence community to be a significant amount of intelligence be declassified so I could start building an international coalition to oppose the invasion. Then in February, some of you remember, I warned the world that the invasion was imminent. I rallied a coalition of 50 nations from Europe to Asia to help Ukraine defend itself. Many foreign policy experts thought, as Putin amassed Russian forces just 100 miles north of Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, but Putin thought it was the mother home of Russia. The capital would fall in less than a week. But the Ukrainian people, backed by a coalition to help build, stopped them. Today, Kyiv still stands. And NATO stands
So are we going to war
stronger
right now?
than it
What's
has ever
happening?
been. During the week of this summit, several heads of states made it a point in their statements to thank the United States and to thank me personally for all that NATO has achieved. NATO is not only stronger, NATO is bigger because we led the charge to bring in Finland and Sweden into the alliance. And it makes a gigantic difference. Excuse me. Meanwhile, my predecessor has made it clear he has no commitment to NATO. He's made it clear that he would feel no obligation to honor Article 5. He's already told Putin, and I quote, "Do whatever the hell you want." In fact, the day after Putin invaded Ukraine, here's what he said. It was genius. It was wonderful. Some of you forgot that, but that's exactly what he said. But I made it clear, a strong NATO is essential to American security. And I believe the obligation of Article 5 is sacred. And I would remind all Americans, Article 5 is invoked only once in NATO's long history, and that was to defend America after 9/11. I made it clear that I will not bow down to Putin. I will not walk away from Ukraine. I will keep NATO strong. That's exactly what we did, and exactly what we'll continue to do.
How many fucking deaf people are in this country?
And
And why can't they read closed captions?
I thought that was just some guy who was
There's much
offering me
more
a
than the political
blowjob.
I've been watching him the whole damn time,
It's more than
distracting me.
that. It's a national security issue.
All I'm hearing
Don't
is
reduce
I'm
this
going
to
to
the
send
usual
the
testament
18-year-olds to war.
that people talk
That's what I'm
about
hearing.
issues of being a political campaign. It's far too important. It's about the world we live in for decades to come. Every American must ask herself or himself, is the world safer with NATO? Are you safer? Is your family safer? I believe the American people know. The answer to all those questions is yes. And I believe the American people understand that America is stronger because of our alliances. I believe the American consensus from Truman to Reagan to me still holds today. America cannot retreat from the world. We must lead the world. We're an indispensable nation, as Madeleine Albright wrote. Now let me turn to three other key issues. Just this morning, we had a great economic report showing inflation is down.
The fuck?
Overall prices fell last month. Core inflation is the lowest it's been in 3 years.
He took president 4
Prices
years
are
ago.
falling for cars, appliances, and airfares. Grocery prices have fallen since the start of the year. We're going to keep working to take down corporate greed to bring those prices down further. Meanwhile, Trump's calling for a 10% tariff on everything Americans buy, including food from overseas, vegetables, and other necessities. And economists tell us that that would cost the average American working family another $2,500 a year. It's a tax of $2,500
What's
a
the
year.
difference between that
Second,
or him just raising
Our
taxes?
efforts to secure the border, southern border, is working.
Another thing.
After Trump killed the
to take note of is that
bipartisan
he
effort
kept
to
the
secure
China
the border,
tariffs.
Republicans and Democrats had worked on, because he thought it would benefit me and make him a loser, Republicans walked away. So I took executive action last month.
That's why
As a
Lincoln Riley's
consequence,
still alive.
Working with Mexico, border encounters have gone down over 50%. The current level is lower today than when Trump left office. Third,
I'm going to turn those
for
off.
months, the United States has been working to secure a ceasefire in Gaza, to bring the hostages home,
Maybe not.
create a path for peace and stability in the Middle East. 6 weeks ago, I laid out a detailed plan in writing. It was endorsed by the UN Security Council, the G7. That framework is now agreed on by both Israel and Hamas. So I sent my team to the region to hammer out the details. These are difficult, complex issues. There's still gaps to close, but we're making progress. The trend is positive, and I'm determined to get this deal done and bring an end to this war, which should end now. Let me conclude where I began. We're the United States of America. We are the indispensable nation. Our leadership matters. Our partnerships matter. This moment matters. We must rise to meet it. With that, I'll take your questions. I've been given a list of people to call on here.
Of course he has.
Reuters, Jeff Mason.
Did he just say the quiet part out loud? Was he supposed to say that?
Mr. President, your political future has hung over the NATO summit a little
That
bit
guy's
this
gay.
week. Speaker Pelosi made a point of suggesting that your decision on whether to stay in the race was still open. George Clooney and a handful of lawmakers have called on you to step aside. Reuters is reporting tonight that UAW leadership is concerned about your ability to win.
UAW just endorsed me, but go ahead.
Thank you. My question for you is, how are you incorporating these developments into your decision to stay? And separately, What concerns do you have about Vice President Harris's ability to beat Donald Trump if she were at the top of the ticket?
Look,
It's a weird question.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president.
What?
Let's start there. Number one. The fact is that the consideration
He's coughed like
is that
50
I think
times.
I'm the most
seriously.
qualified person
You might
to run
die
for
right
president.
now.
I beat him once, and I will beat him again. Secondly,
He practiced that line.
the idea, I served in the Senate a long time. The idea that senators and congressmen running for office
That's like 7
worry
coughs.
about the ticket is not unusual. And I might add, there are at least 5 presidents running or incumbent presidents who had lower numbers than I have now,
Who's he talking about?
later in the campaign.
Woodrow Wilson?
Long way to
does
go.
that.
Who's he talking to?
Well,
Yes, like
And
who's he
so-
talking to and why is he
I,
raping
I'm
them?
just going to keep moving. Keep moving. And because, look, I got more work to do. We got more work to finish. There's so much, we made so much progress. Think about it. Think about where we are economically relative to the rest of the world. Name me a world leader who wouldn't want to trade places with our economy.
Argentina.
We've created over 800,000 manufacturing jobs, 1.5 million jobs. I mean, so things are moving. We got more to go.
Falling
Working
apart.
class people still need help. Corporate greed is still at large. Their prices, the corporate profits have doubled since the pandemic.
true, and they're all
They're coming
endorsing
down.
you.
And so I'm optimistic about where things are going. Danny Kemp, AFP.
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to ask you about your, you mixed up Presidents Zelensky and Putin earlier today. And you now have sort of your key allies, including the British Prime Minister, the President of France, the German Chancellor having to step in and make excuses for you on that. And officials here are saying off the record that your decline has become noticeable. Hasn't this now, frankly, become damaging for America's standing in the world? Thank you.
Did you see any
Good
damage
question.
to our standing in my leading this conference? Have you seen a more successful conference? What do you think?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
the Putin piece, I was talking about Putin, and I said, and now, at the very end, I said, here, I mean, Putin, I said, no, I'm sorry. it's
Oh my
Zelensky."
God.
And then I added 5 other names. Look, guys,
Oh man.
the idea anybody suggests that
He is falling
That-
apart.
we haven't had an incredibly successful conference. How many times did you hear in that conference, I know it sounds too self-serving, but other leaders, heads of state, in thanking me, saying the reason we're together is because of Biden, because Biden did the following. Look, folks, this is, well, anyway, I thought it was the most successful conference I've attended in a long time.
Oh my God.
And find me a world leader who didn't think it was. Next one. Sorry, Nancy Cordes,
Nailed it.
CBS.
Get up there, Nancy.
Thank you, Mr. President. You mentioned other instances in history where presidents have faced a challenge, but what makes this moment in history so unique is that it is not your enemies who are calling on you to reconsider your decision to stay in the race. It's your friends, supporters, people who think you've done a great job over the past 4 years. Have you spent time thinking about what it would mean for your legacy, which you've worked decades to build, if you stay in the race, despite the concerns that voters say they have, and you lose to someone who you yourself have argued is unfit to return to the Oval Office?
Well, look. I'm not in this for my legacy. I'm in this
Can't
to
take this guy
complete the job I
seriously.
started. As you recall, understandably, many of you and many economists thought my initial initiatives that I put forward, can't do that, it's going to cause inflation, things are going to skyrocket, the debt's going to go up. What are you hearing now from mainstream economists? 16 economic Nobel laureates said I've done a hell of a job. That under my plan so far and what's going to happen in the future if I'm reelected, that things are going to get much better. Our economy is growing. I was determined when I got elected to stop the trickle-down economic theory.
Not a
If the
real
wealthy
theory.
did very well, everybody else would do well. My dad was a well-read, decent guy. I don't remember much trickling down on his kitchen table. Middle-class people and working-class people need help. And so what happened is I decided
load
to
that made
implement,
him
was
trickle
able
down
to
on the
implement as
kitchen
president
table instead.
what I believed when I was a senator. And that is that the way to build this economy is from the middle out and the bottom up. That way we grow the economy. And the wealthy still do very well. They do fine. And guess what? Find me an economist, a mainstream economist who said we haven't done well. What have we not done?
Wasn't the
that
question
isn't
about
working
why
right
his
now?
friends are saying he
So
should
what
quit?
we had to do, we had to finish the job. And by the way, I come from the corporate state of the world. Delaware has more corporations registered
He
in
just
Delaware than every
rejected
other
his
state in
Pennsylvania
the
roots.
nation combined. I'm not anti-corporate, but corporate profits have doubled since the pandemic. Doubled. It's time things get back in order a little bit. It's time, for example, if I'm reelected, we're going to make sure that rents are kept at 5% increase of corporate rents for apartments and the like and homes are limited to 5%. We're going to make a lot of changes that I've been talking about because we're going to continue to grow this economy. And by the way, remember how I got so roundly criticized for being so pro-union, not labor, union.
Just for reference, any landlord needs
guess
10%
what?
increase every year to
I've been
even
the most
make money.
pro-union labor president in history. Not a joke. And guess what? We had the Treasury Department do a study. When unions do better, everybody does better. Everybody does better. And we talk about how,
That's like,
for
why does he
example,
have to be so
when I
gropey
went-
about it?
Remember when we talked about getting the computer chip industry back
Sounds
in the
Batman
United States?
impression.
Used to be 40% of the industry. We invented the chip. 40% of the industry was in the United States. And former presidents decided that the best way to do it is find the cheapest labor in the world, send the product over there, and
I thought he was
import
grabbing on
what
the floating
product was.
emoji.
And so what did I do? I was told not to go over to Europe, to Asia, including Europe, but Asia. And I remember going to South Korea, convincing them to invest $20 billion in the United States to build computer chip factories. And I asked why when they finally decided to do it. And the answer was because you have the safest economy in the world and you have the best workers in the world. So the whole idea here is we've invested, there's over $50 billion in investment in computer chip manufacturing just coming in the bean. None of you thought that would happen. None of you thought that would happen.
None of you thought that would happen.
It's happening. It's going to grow economies. All through, and by the way, red states and blue states. Matter of fact, there's as much in red states as blue states. I've made no distinction. So my generic point is that the idea that we can't continue to build and grow the economy, make it fairer. And like I said, from my standpoint, when the middle class does well, that's when the whole economy grows. The poor have a shot, the wealthy do well. But the wealthy got to start paying their taxes.
As a follow-up, sir, you mentioned that your Vice President Kamala Harris would be ready to serve on day one. Can you elaborate on that? What is it about her attributes and her accomplishments over the last 4 years that make her ready to serve on day one if necessary?
First of all, the way she's handled the issue of freedom of women's bodies to have control over their bodies. Secondly, her ability to handle almost any issue on the board. This was a hell of a prosecutor. She was a first-rate person, and in the Senate, she was really good. I wouldn't have picked her unless I thought she was qualified to be president. From the very beginning, I made no bones about that. She is qualified to be president. That's why I picked her.
I seem to remember a lot of people hated her for being a prosecutor.
Didn't she
Felicia
get like
Schwartz,
slave labor out of
Financial
prisoners?
Times.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. Presidency is the most straining job in the world, and it's 24/7. How can you say you'll be up for that next year, in 2 years, in 4 years, given the limits you've acknowledged that you have today?
The limits I've acknowledged I have?
There's been reporting that you've acknowledged that you need to go to bed earlier and your evening around 8.
That's not true. Look,
I can stay up as much as I want.
what I said was, instead of my every day starting at 7 and going to bed at midnight, it'd be smarter for me to pace myself a little more. And I said, for example, the 8, 7, 6 stuff, instead of starting the fundraiser at 9 o'clock, start at 8 o'clock. People get to go home by 10 o'clock. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about.
Yeah, they
if you
did.
looked at my schedule since I made that stupid mistake in the campaign in the debate, I mean, my schedule has been full bore. I've done. Where's Trump been? Riding around in his golf cart, filling out his scorecard before he hits the ball. I mean, look.
It's
he's
almost like
done
President
virtually
Trump
nothing.
is no longer the president.
And I don't know how many, don't hold me to it, roughly 20 major events. Someone with thousands of people showing up.
But this is only, what, his 9th speech
And
since
so,
he's been president?
I just think it's better. I always have an inclination, whether I was playing sports or doing politics, just to keep going, not stop. I just got to just pace myself a little more. Pace myself. And the next debate, I'm not going to be traveling into 15 time zones a week before. Anyway, that's what it was about. That's what it was about. And by the way, even with that, I love my staff, but they add things all the time. At the very end, I'm catching hell from my wife for that. Anyway,
I'm sure you are. That's the one thing I believe.
I'm sorry, Zeke Miller, Associated Press.
Why did they switch out the sign language?
Thank you, Mr. President. Two
They
questions
couldn't
for you.
handle the bullshitting
First,
with their hands.
on the NATO summit, President Zelensky, in your meeting with him, he pressed you to lift your limitations on the Ukrainian use of American weapons, saying that, in his public remarks afterwards, saying that Ukraine cannot win the war unless those limitations are lifted. Are you reconsidering your position on that? And then secondly, following up on Felicia's question there, leaders of your own party have said that they're not worried about that debate. They're worried about the next bad night and the bad night after that. How can you reassure the American people that you are up to the task and that there won't be more bad nights at a debate stage or somewhere else?
First thing about Zelensky asking for the ability to strike deep into Russia. We've allowed Zelensky to use American weapons in the near term.
It's going to cut out for 1 second. I'm just going to shut the emojis off.
Whether or not he should be attacked. For example, should Zelensky, he's not, but if he had the capacity to strike Moscow, strike the Kremlin, would that make sense? It wouldn't. The question is, what's the best use of the weaponry he has, the weaponry we were getting to him? I've gotten a more long-range capacity, as well as defensive capacity. And so our military is where I'm following the advice of my commander-in-chief.
I can't focus with the sign language lady.
I think that's the point. I think that's the point, so you don't realize how ridiculous he sounds.
People. And we're making a day-to-day basis on what they should and shouldn't go, how far they should go in. That's a logical thing to do. Second question related to
Bad nights, sir. How can you reassure the American people that you won't have more bad nights, whether they be on a debate stage or in some matter of foreign policy?
Well, I tell you what.
How about this?
The best way to assure them is the way I assure myself. And that is, am I getting the job done? Am I getting the job done? Can you name me somebody who's gotten more major piece of legislation passed in 3.5 years? I created 2,000 jobs just last week. So if I slow down, I can't get the job done. That's a sign that I shouldn't be doing it. But there's no indication of that yet.
What did he just say?
He said there's no indication.
What we got here?
That he's fucked up.
I don't know how we got here, though.
Pulaski Radio.
Just seems like the question they ask is irrelevant. He just
Thank
goes
you,
on
Mr.
some
President.
rant.
How are you?
Yeah,
I'm
honestly.
well.
The elections in the US have consequences around the world. You have pretty high standing in Europe. I just asked President Macron about you, and he said we are happy to have him as the President of the United States. But there is a concern. Many people in Poland and across Europe are worried that the former president may win the election. And there's a lot of concern that Donald Trump may weaken NATO, stop supporting Ukraine, or push Ukraine to give up territories to Russia.
They're correct.
And yourself was warning just 2 minutes ago about it. So my question is, do you think that Europe will be left on its own if Donald Trump wins the election? And what's your advice to European leaders?
This reporter is almost worse
to
than him.
prepare for possible U.S.
At least
disengagement.
this isn't the reporter's first language.
That's what I was going to say.
I think, how can I say this without sounding too self-serving? I'm not having any of my European allies come up to me and say, Joe, don't run. What I hear them say is, you've got to win. You can't let this guy come forward. It'd be a disaster.
Because Europe's already fallen.
It'd be a disaster. I mean, I think he said in one of his rallies, don't hold me to this, recently, where NATO, I just learned about NATO or something to that effect. Foreign policy has never been his strong point. And he
That's
seems
why
to have
Russia
an
didn't
affinity to
invade
people who
Ukraine.
are authoritarian.
Yeah, conveniently invaded
That
Obama,
worries,
and then
I can
nothing,
tell
and
you,
then
from
under
Poland,
Biden.
that worries Europe.
Also, why the
That
Taliban
worries
didn't
Poland.
act up under
And
it.
nobody, including the people of Poland, think that if he wins in Ukraine, he's going to stop in Ukraine. That that's going to be the end of it.
When was the
And
last time we
so,
took the Poles'
what I
opinion
can
seriously?
say is, I think I'm the best
This is hard.
qualified
It's
person
hard for me to
do
watch,
the
man.
job.
I'm struggling.
To make sure that Ukraine does not fall, that Ukraine succeeds, that the European alliance stays strong. You may recall, no one was talking about Finland joining NATO. I remember talking to Putin right after we got elected in Geneva, and he was talking about what we should do. We couldn't be in Eastern Europe, etc. And I said, you're looking for the Finlandization of Ukraine. I said, you're going to get the NATOization of Finland. And about 4 weeks later, I got a call. No, that's not true. Probably 5 months later, from the president of Finland, could he come and see me? In my office. And I invited him to the Oval Office. We sat down and talked. He said he wanted to join NATO. Could I help? And I did. It wasn't automatic. And then I got a call from the Swedes. I beg your pardon? And so Finland joined NATO. 800-mile border is a significant, and they were already allies, but they weren't part of NATO. And you heard, I think you heard, maybe, I can't recall whether he said it publicly or in our closed meeting, but he wouldn't mind it being repeated. He said, we decided in Finland, the people of Finland decided they had to be part of NATO. It was in our interest because of the joint ability to be together, to dissuade any attack on Finland. And the same thing with Sweden. It took a lot of selling to some folks, particularly in Turkey and other places, to agree to the expansion. But it expanded. And we're a hell of a lot stronger because of it. We're more secure because of it. And by the way, I was able to get 50 other nations, 50, to support Ukraine. 50. And we were able to bring about a coalition of Europe and Asia, Japan and South Korea. I just met we talked about AUKUS, and we talked about the relationship between Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Korea, the United States. We're making the world safer and stronger because we have to deal with the new arrangement that exists in the world. The Cold War is over. The post-war era is over. What is going to replace it? And I respectfully suggest I have a pretty good idea what that should be. I've convinced a lot of people to follow it, and we're just going to get stronger. David Sanger. Where's it?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Be nice, David.
Mr. President, the NATO declaration that was issued yesterday was very notable because it described China as a decisive enabler of the war in Ukraine for its provision of critical goods to the Russians. That's part of a broader partnership that seems to have cemented in place in the past 2 or 3 years. I think one that you were a little bit doubtful of when we asked you about it some time ago. So I'd be interested to know whether you have a strategy now of trying to interrupt the partnership between China and Russia, and whether or not in a second term you would pursue that, if you could describe that strategy to us. And along the way, could you also tell us whether you think, just to follow up on Felicia's question, that if you were in a room with Vladimir Putin again, the way you were 3 years ago, or with President Xi, that a few years from now you will be able to go negotiate with them, handle them one-on-one?
Well, the first part of the question is, we discussed and I raised in the NATO summit, and others raised, the future of China's involvement, what they're going to do. What they're doing with Russia in terms of accommodating, facilitating, they're getting access to additional, they're not supplying weapons themselves, they're supplying mechanisms for them to be able to get weapons. And China's position is basically, and I've spent more time with Xi Jinping than any world leader has, over 90 hours since being vice president all the way through, for real. And by the way, I handed all my notes. But my point is that Xi believes that China is a large enough market that they can entice any country, including European countries, to invest there in return for commitments from Europe to do A, B, C, or D, or not to do certain things. What's happened is we had a long discussion about what we have to make clear. China has to understand that if they are supplying Russia with information and capacity, along with working with North Korea and others to help Russia in armament, that they're not going to benefit economically as a consequence of that by getting the kind of investment they're looking for. And so, for example, we're in a situation where, and we've reestablished direct contact with China after that, remember the balloon, quote unquote, going down, and all of a sudden things came to an end? Well, we set up a new mechanism. There's a direct line between Xi and me, and our military has direct access to one another, and they contact one another when we have problems. The issue is that we have to make sure that Xi understands there's a price to pay for undercutting both the Pacific Basin as well as Europe, and as relates to Russia and dealing with Ukraine. And so we, for example, if you want to invest in China, as you know this area really well. If you want to invest in China, you have to have a 51% Chinese owner. You have to make sure that you do by their rules, and you don't have the authority, and that you have to provide all access to all the data and information you have. There was a while there, as you recall, the last administration and other administrations, where the access to that market was enticing enough to get companies to come in, because they had access to over 1 billion people in a market, not 1 billion, but a lot of people in the market, and so they were doing it. But that got curtailed when we started saying we're going to play by the same rules. For example, the idea they don't abide by the international rules related to subsidizing products by the government funding. So guess what? They're not going to be able to export their electric vehicles to the United States without a significant tariff. Others are doing the same thing around the world. But it is a concern. It is a concern that you have both China, North Korea, Russia, Iran, countries that are not necessarily coordinated in the past, looking to figure out how they can have impact.
Do you have a strategy to interrupt that impact?
Yes, I do, but I'm not prepared to talk about the detail of it in public. And I think you'll see that some of our European friends are going to be curtailing their investment in Russia. In China, as long as China continues to have this indirect help to Russia in terms of being able to help their economy as well as help them in as a consequence of that their ability to fight in Ukraine.
What time did he go on?
The other thing that we talked a lot about is that, and I
Jeez,
raised
what
it,
was
and
it,
there
like
was- I didn't hear
7:30
any-
almost, I think.
I can't swear that
He
everyone
spoke longer
agreed
than I
because
expected
not
him
everybody
to.
got to talk
I know.
about it.
It's brutal.
Yeah, it is. I'm on.
If you want to get out of here, you're welcome to.
No, I'm here. I'm here. I just hate listening to this
We
guy.
talked about how both the EU as well as NATO has to be able to begin to build their own munition capacity, has to be able to generate their own capacity to provide for weapons and the ability to, it came as a surprise to some of us how we had fallen behind in the West in terms of the ability to construct new material, new weaponry, new everything from vehicles to weapon systems. And so one of the things that came out of this was we're going to be meeting again with a number of my colleagues, my European colleagues, is what do we do to increase the capacity of the West, particularly in Europe and Japan, to be able to generate the kind of ability to produce their own weapon systems. Not just for themselves, but to be able to generate that. It's the same, it's what Russia's trying to figure out, that they went to China and they didn't get the weapons, but then they went to North Korea. But we're going to be in a position where the West is going to become the industrial base for to be able to, the ability to have all the defensive weapons that we need. That was a discussion as well.
Mr. President, I'm not sure you answered on whether you would be ready to go deal with Putin and Xi 2 or 3 years from now.
I'm ready to deal with them now and 3 years from now. Look,
You guys remember Tucker's interview with Putin, right?
like I said, I'm dealing with Xi
Say what you
right
want
now
about Putin, but
and direct contact with him.
he was giving like history
I
lessons.
have no
But
good
now
reason
look at
to talk to
Biden.
Putin.
Compared to this.
How is he going to compete with
There's
that?
not much that he is prepared to do in terms of accommodating any change in his behavior. But there isn't any world leader I'm not prepared to deal with. But I understand that your generic point is Putin ready to talk? I'm not ready to talk to Putin unless Putin's ready to change his behavior. And the idea...
How many people have to die?
Yep.
Putin's got a problem. First of all, in this war that he is supposedly have won, and by the way, I think, don't hold me to the exact number, but I think that Russia had 17.3% of Ukraine that they conquered. Now it's 17.4. I mean, in terms of percentage of territory. They've not been very successful. They've caused horrible damage, loss of life, but they've also lost over 350,000 troops,
I don't believe that
military, killed or wounded. They have over 1 million people, particularly young people with technical capability, leaving Russia because they see no future there. They've got a problem. But what they do have control of is they are very good at controlling and running the public outcry that relates to how they use mechanisms to communicate with people. They lie like hell through the constituencies. They lie like hell about what's going on. And so the idea that we're going to be able to fundamentally change Russia in the near term is not likely. But one thing for certain, if we allow Russia to succeed in Ukraine, they're not stopping in Ukraine. I recommend, I know you know this because you've written about it, read Putin's speech after they moved in, what it was all about in Kyiv. It wasn't about just, anyway, read what his objective is. And anyway, but so I think that I'm prepared to talk to any leader who wants to talk, including if Putin called me and wanted to talk. Last time I talked to Putin was trying to get him to work on an arms control agreement related to nuclear weapons in space.
Zelensky literally said that he wants Putin killed. How is he going to negotiate?
So my point is, I'm prepared to talk to anybody, but I don't see any inclination. There is an inclination on the part of the Chinese to keep in contact with me, because they're not sure where this all goes. And look what's happened in Asia. We have strengthened the Asian Pacific area more than anybody else has. We just put together with, today I brought on, I asked our NATO allies that we bring on the group from the South Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Australia. I already mentioned Australia. And I met twice now, I think, with the 14 leaders of the Pacific Island nations. And we've slowed down what's going on there.
He's at a freaking NATO meeting. Why is he talking about Australia?
But there's a lot of
I
work
have no
to do.
idea
This
why
is a
any
moving target, and I don't take
why
it
any
lightly.
of this is happening.
Sam from NPR.
Thank you, Mr. President. Asma Khalid with NPR. I have two questions. Earlier, you spoke about the ceasefire plan between Israel and Hamas. We're now looking at 10 months of war, and I'm curious if there's anything that you feel personally you wish you would have done differently over the course of the war. And then secondly, if I may, I wanted to ask you about your presidential campaign. I remember covering your campaign in 2020, and there was a moment where you referred to yourself as a, quote, bridge candidacy, a transition to a younger generation of leaders. I want to understand what changed.
Two things. Let's go back to when you talked about would I have changed anything that's happening with Israel and the Palestinians and the Palestinian movement. The answer is, as you recall, from the very beginning, I went to Israel, but I also got immediate contact with al-Sisi in Egypt. I met with the King of Jordan. I met with most of the Arab leaders to try to get a consensus going as to what had to be done to deal with getting more aid and food and medicine into the Gaza Strip. And we pushed it really hard. And Israel occasionally was less than cooperative, number one. The Israeli War Cabinet, I've been dealing with Israel since Golda Meir. Some of the reporters around here come here all the time and heard me say this. The first time I met with Golda Meir, I sat across from her at her desk, and her assistant was Rabin sitting next to me. That's how far back I go. I know Israel well, and I support Israel. But this war cabinet is one of the most conservative war cabinets in the history of Israel. And there's no ultimate answer other than a two-state solution here. And so what was able to be done in terms of the plan I put together was it would be a process for a two-state solution. And we get the Arab nations to, particularly from Egypt to all the way to Saudi Arabia, to be in a position where they would cooperate in the transition so that they could keep the peace in Gaza without Israeli forces staying in Gaza. The question has been from the beginning, what's the day after in Gaza? And the day after in Gaza has to be, the end of the day after has to be no occupation by Israel on the Gaza Strip, as well as the ability for us to get in and out as rapidly as you can, all that's needed there. I've been disappointed that some of the things that I put forward
Let's just
have
answer
not
the second
succeeded
question,
as well.
though.
Like the port.
I want to answer the second question.
I was hopeful that would be more successful.
I forgot what was happening.
But
why they were
that's why
supposed to have a younger person.
When
now.
I went to Israel immediately after
Feels
the
designed to
massacres
make
that
you
occurred
not
at
listen.
the hands of
Yeah.
Hamas, the one thing I said.
I wonder
to
what color
Israelis, and
sweatpants
that was the
Obama's
war
wearing right
cabinet,
now.
and with BB, don't make the same mistake America made after bin Laden. There's no need to occupy anywhere. Go after the people who did the job. You may recall, I still get criticized for it, but I was totally opposed to the occupation and trying to unite Afghanistan. Once we got bin Laden, we should have moved on, because it was not in our. No one's ever going to unite that country. I've been over every inch of that, not every inch, the entirety from the poppy fields all the way to the north. I said, don't make the same mistake we made. Don't think that's what you should be doing, is doubling down. We'll help you find the bad guys, Sinwar and company. And all this criticism about I wouldn't provide when the weapons they needed. I'm not providing them 2,000-pound bombs. They cannot be used in Gaza or any populated area without causing great human tragedy and damage. But remember what happened when you had the attack on Israel with rockets and ballistic missiles. I was able to unite the Arab nations as well as Europe, and nothing happened. Nothing got hurt. It sent an incredible lesson to what was going on from the Middle East. So there's a lot of things, in retrospect, I wish I had been able to convince the Israelis to do. But the bottom line is we have a chance now. It's time to end this war. Doesn't mean walk away from going after Sinwar and Hamas. And if you notice, you know better than most, there is a growing dissatisfaction on the West Bank from the Palestinians about Hamas. Hamas is not popular now. And so there's a lot of moving parts. I just have to keep moving to make sure that we get as much done as we can toward a ceasefire, and get those. And by the way, look at the numbers in Israel. I mean, my numbers are better in Israel than they are here. But then again, they're better than a lot of other people here too. But anyway.
What?
Bridge candidacy in 2020. You referred to yourself as being a bridge candidate for a younger, fresher generation of Democratic leaders, and I wanted to know what changed.
What changed was the gravity of the situation I inherited in terms of the economy, our foreign policy, and domestic division. And I think, I won't put words in anybody's mouth.
Honestly, though, any other candidate's a good answer.
Most presidential
A
historians
lot has happened,
give
but
me
it's all
credit
because he's president that's happened.
for having accomplished more than most any president since Johnson and maybe before that to get major pieces of legislation passed. And what I realized was my long time in the Senate had equipped me to have the wisdom to know how to deal with the Congress to get things done. We got more major legislation passed that no one thought would happen. And I want to finish it, to get that finished. If tomorrow, if we had a circumstance where there was a lineup and I hadn't inherited what I did and we just moved things along, anyway, it's going to change.
Just gives up. Anyway.
Haley Bull, Scripps. Or no, Josh Weingrove, I'm sorry, was the next one. I'll do two more questions.
Thank you, Mr. President. Many of your colleagues, Democrats on the Hill, are watching tonight as they assess what they want to say about your candidacy. I'm wondering how you're thinking of this right now. It seems like your answer is clear, but they're watching how things go tonight, tomorrow in Michigan, next week in Texas and Nevada. Are you thinking that way about how the next week or two goes would inform you?
Am I using that way, you say?
Are you thinking that way about how the next 2 weeks go? Will that affect your decision, or are you fully determined on running in November as the party's nominee?
I'm determined on running, but I think it's important that I lay fears by let them see me out there. Let me see them out, for the longest time it was, Biden's not prepared to sit with us unscripted. Biden's not prepared to, anyway. And so, what
shit
I'm
ain't
doing
real.
is, and I've been doing, I think we've done over 20 major events, from Wisconsin to North Carolina to demonstrate that I'm going out in the areas where we think we can win, where we can persuade people to move our way, or people are already there. And then look, the other thing is, we have the most extensive campaign organization of anybody's had in a long, long time. We have well over 1,000 volunteers knocking on doors, making phone calls, making tens of
You
thousands
say
of
he's
phone
over
calls.
1,000 volunteers?
We have headquarters.
Is that supposed to be impressive?
1,000 is not a lot.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like very many.
That's a
Find out
Doug
I'm off.
Mastriano
We
campaign.
have
Like,
scores of
what
headquarters
is that?
in all the toss-up states. We're organized. We're moving, and that's awful hard to replace in the near term. And so
Anyway.
and here's the other thing.
Anyway.
I was in the Senate a long time. Very proud of what I've done in the Senate. I was chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee for
was
a
in the
long
Senate
time, and
for
I was
such a long
chairman
time, you
of
never had a
ranking
real
member
job.
and chairman of the Judiciary
Him
Committee.
being there for a long time is a bad
I'm going to be
thing.
going down to the Johnson Library. Anyway, I'm going to be going around making the case of the things that I think we have to finish and how we can't afford to lose what we've done or backslide on civil rights, civil liberties, women's rights. There's that little button we have. Control guns, not girls. I mean, the idea we're sitting around this would come
Control guns, not girls, I think.
I hope that's what they wrote on it.
You can tell his brain spits
Are killed
out these
by a
heavily
bullet.
practiced little lines.
than any other cause of death. The United States of America.
Oh, he's mad. He's
What
mad
are
now.
we doing? What are we doing?
You tell
We
me,
got a
Joe.
candidate.
You're
set
the
for
president,
Senate.
dog.
I'm not
You're
gonna
in
do anything.
charge.
I'm not going to do anything. You got a Supreme Court that is what you might call the most conservative court in American history. This is ridiculous. There's so much we can do still, and I'm determined to get it done. It's about freedom. And by the way, I'll end this. Well, I'm not going to do that. Haley has to come up too. But the
So I was going to take two
I
more
remember
questions.
I made a speech on democracy in Philadelphia at Independence Hall. And I'm not being critical,
Yeah,
just
I remember
observing.
that speech.
The bulk of the press, what the hell is he talking about that for? You did.
did.
Democracy's not an issue. Democracy's not an issue. Except the polling data showed 60% of the people knew I was right, thought I was right. I'm not asking you a question. You don't have to answer, obviously. But do you
having
think our
trouble.
democracy is under siege based on this court? Do you think democracy is under siege based on Project 2025?
Hey, there it is.
Do you think the
There
United
it is.
States
Only took
can win the
45
civil
minutes.
service? Eliminate the Department of Education? Make sure, I mean, we've never been here before. And that's the other reason why you say hand off to another generation. I've got to finish this job. I've got to finish this job because there's so much at stake.
Yeah, I think he's got 4 years left in him. He's convinced me.
You had some discussions.
I think
in
we
the
should
past
get rid
few
of
days
term
with your press
limits.
secretary about
In a
the
coma,
question of health exams, and you said you take a cognitive test every day in this job. Are you open to taking another physical or test before the election?
Another?
Governor Whitmer
Has he
of
taken
Michigan,
one?
for instance, said it wouldn't hurt to take a test.
Well, look, two things. One, I've taken 3 significant and intense neurological exams by a
Has he though?
neurologist. In each case, as recently as February. And they say I'm in good shape. Okay?
Who's
Although
they?
I do have a little problem with my left foot because it's not as sensitive because I broke my
Does
foot
have a
and didn't
problem
wear
with
the
his
boot.
left foot, though.
He mistook his wife for an actual doctor.
But I'm good. I'm tested every single day about my neurological capacity, the decisions I make every day. You talk to my staff, all of you talk to my staff. Sometimes my staff talks a lot. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think you have them telling you that all the major ideas we've undertaken haven't been in part initiated by me. I remember when the staff and I said, I'm going to go to South Korea, we're going to get the chip. What are you doing? I'm going to get Japan and Korea back together again after essentially having
I
hostilities.
think someone
toward
probably
one another
said that in his
since the end
earpiece.
of World War II.
Yeah,
Like, what the fuck are you
Probably.
doing?
Honestly, you're not.
I'm
not even joking.
No, yeah.
The only thing age does is help you with it. Creates a little bit of wisdom if you pay attention. And so the point I'm making is, I think it's important that If the neurologist tells me he thinks I need another exam, and by the way, I've laid every bit of the record out.
Finish the thought, man.
Hidden the thing. You ought to ask Trump for his, okay? I laid it all out.
I feel like we should have the band from the Titanic playing right now as we just watch our country go to hell.
I promise you. Or even if they don't think it's a problem, they think I should have a neurological exam again, I'll do it. But no one's suggesting that to me now.
Are you shitting
I'll
me?
ask another question.
I'm saying
no matter
it.
What I did,
Everyone watching this is saying it.
Be satisfied. Did you have 7 docs? Did you have 2? Who'd you have? Did you do this? How many times did you? So I am not opposed if my doctors tell me I should have another neurological exam, I'll do it. But that's where I am. Haley Bull, Scripps.
Oh, he is doing one more.
Thank
Fuck.
you, Mr. President. Listen, you're making
Made you look
decisions
dumb,
on
didn't
a
he?
daily basis when it comes to
I just
support
more
for
bummed that I
Ukraine.
got to sit
Does
through his
that mean
answer.
You have not closed the door on further considering lifting restrictions for U.S.-made weapons inside Russia? And if I may, your convention is coming up where your delegates are pledged to make you the official nominee. If they have second thoughts, are they free to vote their conscience?
Obviously, they're free to do whatever they want, but I get overwhelming support. Overwhelming support. I won, I forget how many votes I won in the primary. Overwhelming. And so tomorrow, if all of a sudden I show up at the convention, everybody says, we want somebody else, that's the democratic process. It's not going to happen.
Even if that means they vote for someone else?
Sure. Look, I'll end this with this. I served in the Senate a long time. I understand the impetus of candidates running for local office and whether they think the top if they can help them or not. In my state of Delaware, which was a very, at least a purple, it was a red state when I started, in terms of we now talk red and blue. I don't recall most of the Democratic presidents winning my state when I was a candidate. The truth of the matter is I understand the self-interest of a candidate. If they think that, running with Biden at the top is going to hurt them, then they're going to run away. I get it. But so far, go and look at the polling data in their states. Look at the in-depth, and by the way, I think you'd all acknowledge, and you're all experts, I'm not being solicitous about the president, you're experts on this stuff. How accurate does anybody think the polls are these days? I can give you a series of polls where you have likely voters, me versus Trump, where I win all the time. When the unlikely voters vote, he wins sometimes. The bottom line is all the polling data right now, which I think is premature because the campaign really hasn't even started. I mean, it hasn't started in earnest yet. Most of the time, it doesn't start till after September, after Labor Day. So a lot can happen.
It started when you were
But I
inducted into
think
office.
I'm the best I believe I'm the best qualified to govern. And I think I'm the best qualified to win. But there are other people who could be Trump
I agree.
too.
He should keep running for
But
president.
it's awful start from scratch.
Anyway.
And, we talk about, money raised. We're not doing bad. We got about $220 million in the bank. We're doing well. So with that, you have any want to follow up on any of that you just asked me?
Yes.
I'd like you to answer the question.
You earlier explained confidence in your vice president.
Yes.
If your team came back and showed you data that she would fare better against former President Donald Trump, would you reconsider your decision to stay in the race?
This whole thing feels
No,
like a
unless they came
dialogue
back and
between
said, there's no way you can win.
Democrats and him.
Yeah.
Me. No one's saying that.
Oh my God. I'm gonna take these headphones off. When he starts whispering, I don't like that.
I cover my dick and asshole when he whispers.
This could.
The smile went away. He stopped smiling.
You misspoke in your opening answer and referred to Vice President Harris as Vice President Trump.
Right now, Donald Trump is using that to mock your age and your memory. How do you combat that criticism from tonight?
Listen to him.
This concludes tonight's
Listen to him. Yeah,
Thank you,
that's a good answer.
Thanks, everyone.
Someone say something funny.
Holy shit!
We need to watch opinion. We need to watch MSNBC and CNN like try to spin this immediately.
I don't even know if I can, man.
No, I can't tolerate more of
I
that.
honestly don't think I can either.
Okay,
You're a
well-
machine, Jack. You're a young man.
Well, what? Okay,
Unfortunately, Joe Biden just whispered and snatched my genitals from me.
Okay, then let's settle with just sharing our thoughts. Just giving our thoughts. What did we all think of this press conference? Did he save his campaign?
No.
That was rough.
That was
Man,
tough.
I feel rough.
You know what, though? I got to say.
I literally feel like I'm going to vomit.
Let's be honest, though. I think
That might
that was
just-
the best Biden's looked in a long time. I'm not even being an asshole.
I don't disagree. I mean, in parts of it. It's all. I think part of the reason he looks so good is because you've seen the shitty now. Like, you're ready for it.
Well, that's the problem. I expect him to just like fall off stage.
If that had been the first one,
Mhm.
I don't know that he would have seen
Well,
him so
the
good.
problem is that he looks good because we hardly see him. Like his handlers know when to stick him into the basement.
Yeah. I don't think it was an accident they had the fucking sign language shit there to distract you. I don't think it was an accident that I think like the middle whole part of that was throwaway. They just knew it's primacy. You know, you heard of primacy?
Yeah, you're right. Because they started with like two hard questions.
Beginning and end.
Nothing.
But
Yeah.
the Vice President Trump comment is going to be memed relentlessly.
Oh, I've been scrolling through Twitter.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
You guys have friends, I imagine, that like don't really watch this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So they're gonna see like the left wing's breakdown of this, rather than the actual original thing.
No, honestly, they won't see any breakdown of it. Most normies won't even know this happened today.
Well, so it's like most people are sort of at the mercy of some talking head telling them whether or not it was good.
Fair.
Like they're just
Yeah.
not gonna watch it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Understood. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think the most interesting. I don't think he saved his campaign. It obviously hasn't changed my mind, but we already all know that. But do you think like Democrats?
It's not gonna stop.
Just based off, if the press was giving him more softball questions, I think they would be more so inclined to say, okay, we're riding with Biden or whatever they want to say. But I just feel like they've all made up their mind where they've turned on now.
Yeah, like I don't believe a single reporter that asked any of those questions wrote those questions. Like that they were handed those questions by what seemed like maybe like the questions seemed like what a wealthy Democrat donor would be asking.
The ones that want their money back?
Yeah, like, well, hey, can you fucking do this, that, or even some of the ways they were asked seemed like 1, 2, 3 part. Like, hey, let's test his memory.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I agree with the analysis that a lot of people were watching this tonight, Democrats, as like, all right, man, like I'm willing to forgive the debate shit if this is somehow not like that.
That was just as bad as the debate.
Yeah, I think so.
If not worse, it shows his ineptitude in his official capacities as president, not just debating his opponent.
Just a total clown show, yeah. And obviously not really the person in part. That's kind of getting skipped over. Who's running the country right now? It ain't fucking that guy. Somebody we didn't vote for is in charge of the country.
It's
a
Obama's
bureaucratic
third term.
state. It's just a...
Everybody that was serving in the Obama administration is simultaneously serving as his.
Yep. And even the whole Obama third term. I'm sure you've heard that yeah.
It was a Jimmy Fallon he was on when he said that?
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I could have gone longer until Biden talked, and now my brain is more mushy than his, I think.
Yeah, I have no comments anymore. That was just so like, I lost focus through that. It was so like he constantly like
That really tested your intent, and I think that was on purpose.
Well,
to test your attention like
What
that.
is very it was a Shakespearean
Shakespearean tragic comedy. Crusty white bread. Thank you.
But it's just like he was asked a question that is rather entertaining and interesting, but responded with an answer about a totally irrelevant topic.
That's kind of what I mean about they felt like questions from rich Demic. They were like some of those questions were actually decent questions.
I'll tell you what, John. I just came to this thought now while I'm sitting here. Last time I was sitting in that chair over there, you brought a picture over here about Joe Biden's ear, and I wasn't buying it at the time. You remember that when you were showing me the little tab on his ear?
Oh, the mask.
Yes. So what I've now come to believe is I think that might be just an implanted earpiece into him. They have hearing aids where they embed it in your
There's
skin. So
there's
I would
almost
imagine-
has to be somebody
people
in
were
his ear.
talking about at the debate. They thought there was an earpiece in his ear at the debate.
I'm sure.
Well, did you see the video of like the people that turned their TV up really loud and you could hear someone else talking while Joe Biden
Oh, I
was
didn't hear-
waiting
I
for an
didn't see
answer?
that.
I didn't see that, but I mean, even his cadence when he talked right there. I don't think the entire time, but yeah, I think there was times where somebody was like getting him back on track, and it's where he says a few words and then pause.
What was it? He said something like, "Why'd you say that?"
Yeah,
Or,
there was something.
Yeah.
There was something that seemed a little out of place.
Mhm.
Oh, that was the super there. Okay.
But my takeaway is that yeah, it was an embarrassing performance from him, but not embarrassing enough for him to drop out. I think.
Truly,
he's still gonna stay.
or are you being a pundit?
No. I'm being.
You really don't
serious.
think that was bad enough to drop out?
No.
I'm not saying I do. I'm just genuinely asking.
No.
Genuinely asking.
Maybe in another debate that'll be the deciding factor. But when he's just like by himself and just depending on journalists, just like giving him softball questions, it's not as bad. I would say like he still messes up, but he's still gonna keep stay in.
That's pretty much my takeaway from it too. Honestly, I don't think.
You think he bought himself some more runway here?
No,
I don't think anything's gonna change. Is basically what I think.
And I don't think he bought himself anything. I think this just goes to show the standstill. It's between the Democratic donor base and the actual party apparatus. I have a feeling Obama, Clinton's, and like the actual bureaucrats are going to stick with him.
Well, that's
and
the
this
problem,
is more
man.
a push from once again the media and the donor class to try to oust him.
They know that it makes no sense for the donors to just start donating to Republicans or the GOP. So they're just trying to stick with it for as long as they can until they're desperate enough to just like stick with Biden.
Well, it makes sense because if Democrats actually had a free and open election for their primary, then you would have had Bernie Sanders in 2016, you would have had who knows who in 2020, and you would have had RFK probably today.
Well, and on top of that, I think it's just like you look at what was just talked about tonight. I keep reading the comments about he kept talking about World War III basically tonight.
There was a part where in the beginning I was like, "Are we going to war?"
I
What's
saw a
happening?
couple people saying that in the chat. So you guys, well, they'll probably
All
will
I
get me
kept
too,
hearing
but
was, "I want you, the young men of this country, to fight for me." Like that's all
What
I
about
kept
the
hearing.
women? I thought he was a feminist.
yeah. Well, we can draft him now, supposedly.
Just not the tranny ones.
I'm really gonna fucking end up being Tom Hanks and Saving Private Ryan. Like that's really gonna happen to me.
Can we be in your platoon?
Yeah, I'm sending the three of you first. You're gonna be the first ones around that die right in the beginning.
Right in
and I'm like,
D-Day, yeah.
you three, go fucking.
All right, now that I got
I'll
them
save
out of
you
the way.
for. I'll keep you in the back.
We'll be your meat shields.
I'll be like, you guys old enough to have seen the South Park movie?
Yep. Yeah. With Chef, like
Operation Human Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, all the black people.
All of them
Shouldn't
up
have.
front.
No, the Canadians.
Platoon B, you will be all going first. What the fuck, man?
That's one of the funniest one-line jokes I've ever heard. Where he goes, "Haven't you heard of the Emancipation Proclamation?" And the general goes, "Sorry, I don't listen to hip hop."
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's one of the hardest I've ever laughed at a movie, at that line. Just because everything about it. Anyway, racism aside, Harambe Fund, keep it under control. Yeah, I don't know that I can handle the analysis. I mean, we'll do some more of it
It was so
days in the future, but
so bad.
that was bad. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Oh,
That wasn't just Americans watching.
There's
The world was
Yeah.
watching.
yeah, you're
important.
processing it now. I think we all need to.
It is important to point out that it was a NATO event, so the whole entire, all of Europe was watching that probably too.
I mean, I think it was something of an audition.
He unintentionally praised a dictator.
Wait,
Putin.
oh.
What did he say right at the end? Believe Trump or something?
Yeah.
What do you have to
He
say
raised
about
walking
Trump's
out.
criticism? And he's like, believe him.
Believe him.
The little creepy whispers. I don't know. I'm done. I'm done with it. Great show today. We had over 20,000 come through on YouTube alone.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we got over 1,200 right now. It's going to keep picking up towards the election. The four of us, I hope, will continue Cider House. And then, of course, anytime something like this comes up and we want to get drunk on top of it, then I'm definitely down. Then I am definitely down. But
Election night is gonna be wild on this show.
Hell yeah.
I've been warning people in the local GOP that when I got in touch with him back in February, get your practice in now because it's going to be hard to appreciate how big this is going to blow up once all the normies start getting really into it. And
It's unfortunate, though. I'm going to have to freaking work the polls on the election day. I wish I was
so
here
like, well,
instead.
I mean, I have to.
I think I might be too, actually.
Yeah, actually, now that you say that, you definitely signed up for it. So
I
I'm
said I
holding
would.
I'm holding you to that.
Yeah, well, I haven't heard
We
anything.
just kick up the
I'll
lives.
do it. Yeah, fuck yeah.
I
I'll
mean, the
get in there.
results aren't going to start coming in until 9 o'clock. Cause, well, I mean, I don't know when nationwide, other states close,
True.
but Pennsylvania's at 8. There's nothing stopping us from starting to whip this thing up. Hopefully the studio's up and
Let's
running.
live stream from as poll workers. Is that allowed?
Yeah, everyone on their own Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
Technically, you're not allowed a phone in the polling place.
Well, if you're poll worker or poll greeter, poll greeting I think is far
True.
more effective than poll working.
What about
Honestly,
poll dancer?
From my time as a poll worker, like
You can't
you
influence
do
the
much,
election as
yeah.
a poll worker.
No.
You can't.
You can influence the election as a poll greeter. You would be astonished by how many low information voters walk into that polling booth with no clue who they're going to vote for. And there is a huge chance that the paper you hand them right before they walk in ends up being who they voted for.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Any final thoughts before I shut it down? Shut it down.
Biden's cooked.
Biden's cooked. I mean, it was bad.
I wouldn't say cooked.
I want to see what George Clooney has to say.
I want to know what happened.
He evaporated.
Was the debate planned at that time? How this is the earliest debate for president?
Yeah, he was an hour late.
Why did they do that?
I just feel like the way they've all turned on him all of a sudden when we've known what he has been for the past 3 years. What's their big plan? I'm afraid of Michelle Obama. I hate to say it. I know that
I just don't see her winning.
I don't necessarily think she'll win, but I think she has the best chance of winning out of the Democrats.
She's the only one, according to a few polls, that has any chance against Trump.
Well,
I mean,
I saw a recent poll on X saying that Kamala Harris would beat Trump, but I don't believe that.
No, Kamala's
It's
been
all
polling
meaningless.
worse than, I mean, and on top, so I know the audience is probably a group of people who don't like answering polls, but as somebody who helps try to turn the needle for Republican politics, please accurately answer polls, because Republicans do conduct polls too, and we need to know how we're performing against our opponents.
And I saw someone say Gavin Newsom, but as we discussed last week, he's not going to risk 2024 run half-baked. He's going to go for 2028.
You can't replace a black woman with a white man, though, in the Democratic Party.
No, that's true.
And there's been like the whole Veritas videos to that have said that and that they're not going to skip over Kamala with the white
Kamala's
guy.
like the high priestess of like intersectionality.
Even though she's not even black, she's Indian. But
It's everything.
Yeah, whatever's convenient at the time.
Jack Kettner, thank you for joining us. Danny Kunzelman, thank you for joining us. Mihai Shogor, thank you for joining us. Shogor. Is it
Shogor.
emphasis on the first or second syllable? Shogor or Shogor?
It's like Shogor.
Shogor.
And it means brother.
Like Live Leak.
I wasn't able to answer that last time, but it means brother-in-law.
Oh, really?
Brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you, the three of you, for joining me. I hope we keep the cider house going. Quick update. We do have the studio underway. It's looking like hopefully towards the end of August.
Okay.
So not super far out. But that is the current timeline. And I'm hoping to have you guys all in there on a new set. Doing some whatever. But thank you also for everyone who joined us on YouTube, Rumble, Pilled, and... I just want you to stop saying Gorilla Town. I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry. X/Twitter. I can never remember what to call it anymore. That is it for today. I am John Ward, and until next time, remember, you're world champion. I always forget to click the starting soon one off. Don't let your memes be dreams. Don't let your memes... be dreams.
First time.